Secretariat rebounded from a loss in the Wood Memorial to win the Kentucky Derby and take our breath away. In 1998, Horse of the Year, Favorite Trick, hopes for a Secretariat-like rebound from his only career defeat. In 1977, a horse named Seattle Slew came here undefeated and left the same way, taking his place in history. Now comes Indian Charlie, trying to inscribe his name alongside the great Slew as an unbeaten Derby winner. But history makes no promises, only that on the first Saturday in May, the gate will open, the crowd will roar, and when the wire is crossed, lives will be changed and forever mingled with the sweet scent of 1,000 roses. Welcome to Churchill Downs. Welcome back if you've been enjoying our coverage over on ESPN2. It is a glorious sunny afternoon for the 124th running of the Kentucky Derby. This is National Car Rental Racing across America, presented by Visa. The crowd estimated already at 140,000, hoping to be present for sporting history. Some have a strong personal interest in the Derby. Some just want to party, but all of them are enjoying this forecast, which has improved greatly from kind of a soggy week of sloppy track. Should be a great day for racing. And welcome, I'm Chris Fowler up near the Spires here at Churchill Downs. It all began about 3 generations ago of breeding, and then 3 years ago, the hopes and dreams of the owners and the trainers here. 3 years of preparing and proving for these thoroughbreds. 15 are entered. Only one will have a chance to be called Kentucky Derby champion in 2 breathtaking minutes just a few hours from now. But it's a big afternoon between now and then. We'll have a big update for you on the Kentucky Derby. Plenty of news and opinions, and also constant updates on the odds. Also lots of racing. The Aegon Mile, Humana Distaff for fillies, and the Early Times Turf Classic, a great field of turf horses. Hayden Bradard joins me. Our first crack at the Kentucky Derby field, a field of 15, very competitive. By some accounts, 9 or 10 horses in this field, a chance to win. But as Jack Whitaker put it, we're looking for a colt with a sense of history this year. And to put some focus on that historical perspective, keep in mind that this is the 50th anniversary of Citation's Triple Crown sweep. This is the 25th anniversary of the great Secretariat as he streaked to glory and really superseded the sport to capture the attention of the American public. And 20 years ago, Affirmed and Aladar sparked off that rivalry that'll go down in history as the greatest rivalry of all time. Let's get to the 98 field. Favorite Trick, the 2-year-old, the horse of the year. If you line them up, would not be among the most impressive in this field. Buying for $1 million, the leg 1 of the Visa Triple Crown. Of course, these 3-year-olds not traveled a mile and a quarter yet. Indian Charlie, another interesting horse. Only 4 outings in his young career. Conventional wisdom says it's impossible to win the Derby. Hasn't happened in almost 8 decades, but there are plenty of other qualified candidates. Well, the knock against Favorite Trick, the pedigree, ability to carry the distance. The knock against Indian Charlie, the lack of seasoning and experience. But Bob Baffert has 2 tries at this Kentucky Derby to try to repeat last year's performance as Silver Charm, and his other ace in the hole could turn out to be a horse he calls the Fish. It's real quiet, very narrow horse, but a horse who seems to have reached full bloom here at Churchill Downs, and in fact outworked his stablemate Indian Charlie. Of all the horses I've seen all week, he seems to be training best of all. And the guys at the Baffert barn, really the fun bunch of the backside this Kentucky Derby week, talking about the workouts of real quiet. They'd like to keep it a little more quiet, but word is getting out that this colt may be ready to outrun Indian Charlie. The other side show, I guess, on the backside this week has been the Nick and Rick show. Nick Zito trying for a 3rd Kentucky Derby in the 90s, and Rick Patino in the Celtic Pride stable, a majority owner of Hallery Hunter, a very interesting horse that attracted a lot of attention here in the state of Kentucky by becoming the Bluegrass winner. In the money, the last 8, perhaps peaking at the right time, which will be a trademark of Zito horses. And Nick Zito's no stranger to success here at Churchill Downs. He's already won 2 Kentucky Derbies. He's going to try for number 3. Not getting any attention on the tote board there. You see Hallery Hunter at 6-1. That's a pretty generous price for a guy who knows how to do it. Real quiet, perhaps not as much of a bargain as he had been before now, dropping to 8-1. Continue to look at the latest Las Vegas odds update. Indian Charlie, a narrow favorite right now over Favorite Trick, 7-2 versus 4-1. Rock and Roll, still one of the longest shots in the field, although getting some support. And the Lucas horse out of the 10-hole Cape Town now at 4-1. We see Artax versus Lincoln. Gave you tips and keep an eye on this horse at 10-1. Victory Gallop, Sandra's Canadian-bred pick. It's 13-1. Not as much of a bargain as he had been a couple of days ago. And you see the long shot starting on the outside. Plenty more coming up as we count down to Derby Day. The hats are here, the sun is shining, and there's racing before the Kentucky Derby. We'll come back shortly.
The 1998 Kentucky Derby Special on ESPN is brought to you by National Car Rental. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. Visa. It's everywhere you want to be. Sitco, when it counts. Clayburn Farm, where champions begin. The National Thoroughbred Racing Association. And by Subway, the way a sandwich should be.
National Car Rental, we believe that when it comes to renting a car, there's really only one place to go. Because at most major airports in America, National gets you in your car and on the road fast. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. National Car Rental.
Let's go!
For nearly as long as there's been a Kentucky Derby, there's been a Clayburn Farm. And through the decades, the impact of Clayburn and its stallions on the world's greatest race is without equal. From Bold Ruler, sire of the immortal Secretariat and grandsire to 5 Kentucky Derby champions, to Swale, Ferdinand, Go for Gin, and Unbridled, 1990 Kentucky Derby champion and sire of Grindstone, winner of the 1996 Derby. Clayburn Farm, where the run for the roses begins.
Some athletes don't care about endorsements. Some athletes don't care how many fans they have or what kind of shoes they wear. Some athletes don't even care if they're televised coast to coast. They just want to run.
The Triple Crown takes a lot of heart, but they don't take American Express at the ticket booth. Visa, proud to be the sponsor of the Visa Triple Crown Challenge. It's everywhere you want to be.
Leave them in the car. Go, baby, go.
National Car Rental racing across America continues from historic Churchill Downs. We're counting down to race number 5 on the Derby Day card here under sunshine in Louisville for a change. And what a nice change. For the 3rd year, the purse in the Kentucky Derby is a guaranteed $1 million, and it breaks down this way. A big drop-off between first and second. It's why it's nice to be in the winner's circle. $700,000 guaranteed to the connections of the winning horse. $170,000 to second. Third picks up $85,000. They pay down to fourth, but that'll barely cover your shipping costs these days. And of course, if any horse can break the 20-year drought in the Triple Crown, we talked about the anniversary of Affirmed, it's worth $5 million. We haven't even run the Kentucky Derby. I'm going to ask you to look ahead. Is there a horse capable of snagging that ultimate prize from Visa?
We'll know more in just a few minutes. It's the ultimate cop-out, I guess. But the truth is, 1.25 miles will tell you an awful lot about how a horse can fare in the Preakness, which is a shorter distance, and then the longer Belmont Stakes, the toughest leg of all, really, in terms of the distance and what we're asking these young horses to do.
Exactly. 3 different races, 3 different distances. Leg 1 kicks off on ABC as soon as we're done here at 4:30 Eastern Time. Jim McKay, Al Michaels, Dave Johnson, Leslie Bissell will get you ready for post time at 5:28. We're back over on ESPN2 after the race with plenty of replays and analysis. As we continue the countdown to the Aegon Mile, a race for fillies and mares, we send it to Charlene Hawks. Charlene?
Chris, I will understand completely if you want to just push me out of the way to do this next interview with supermodel Nikki Taylor. It's great to have you here. What do you think of all the fashions that you've been seeing so far?
Oh my gosh, first of all, just getting through the crowd is a big deal. The fashions here have been unbelievable. Everybody looks very, very beautiful.
Have you run into any ladies' hats, you know, with the wide brim?
Yeah, we've been bumping into everybody, and especially with mine. I'm not used to wearing a hat. I'm constantly going like this, and I think it's kind of big for my head.
You look great. You look great in anything. Now, not too many women wearing pants. The two of us are wearing pants. Are we in trouble? Are we setting a trend?
I think we're setting a trend. Yeah, definitely.
There we go.
We're wearing pantsuits.
Now, you have twin sons, Jade and Hunter. Now, there's a horse in the field, Hallery Hunter. Have you thought about that
Hunter,
one?
Yes, that's the one. It's good luck, so I have to bet on him.
There you go. This is your first Derby?
This is my first Derby. It's very exciting, and the sun came out for us.
How did it happen? How did this trip happen?
I think it was Dr. Brown who invited us, and we went to the big party last night. Oh my gosh, was it unbelievable. It was just amazing, huge.
Well, your fans are calling you, so you better wave to them. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll throw it back to you, Chris.
Charlene, thank you. The beautiful people here all week. We had Bo Derek and the not-so-beautiful Bo Schembechler, both converging at the Lucas Barn the other morning. Worlds colliding here at Churchill Downs. We talked about a firm 20 years ago, the great duel with Aladar coming out of the number 2 slot. Nine Derby champions this century have started from post position number 2, including the great Triple Crown winner, Affirmed. But since Affirmed's victory 20 years ago, the 2 Post has been the home of dashed Derby dreams, producing no winners.
Right now, Sun has dozens of great gift ideas for Mother's Day. For cooking moms, Sun has Betty Crocker appliances under $8, or a GE refrigerator only $4.97. For relaxing moms, Sun has air conditioners starting as low as $177, or a Magnavox TV for just $237. And for business moms, Sun has Brother fax machines under $200, or a multimedia computer for just $4.97. Find the perfect gift for your mom at Sun.
Oh, John, this could be another one of those criminal calls. Now, remember your plan.
Hello? John Willman. I'd like to give you the chance at a no-risk investment opportunity of a lifetime.
What does he think? We're born yesterday? Use the plan.
I'm sorry, I'm not interested.
That's it. See, one good line can leave him speechless. Remember, fraudulent telemarketers are criminals. Don't fall for a telephone line.
People, springtime is a time of peace. It's a time of natural beauty and flowers and such. But for the baseball player, it's a time of impatience. He's got the fire in his belly. That's what springtime is. It's the quiet in the field before the war.
Go, baby, go! Go! Come on. Go, baby! Inhibitions, leave them in the car. Go, baby, go.
Racing. Yeah, it's in our blood. Louisville, moving ahead.
A beautiful afternoon for ESPN's Kentucky Derby special. As we count down to the Derby, we'll get to some racing. 2 races for fillies and mares, and then a great race on turf. Now, coming up after us, just in case you don't want to watch the Derby over on ABC, you can watch Bruno's Memorial Classic, Cadillac presenting senior golf, following us at 4:30 today Eastern Time over on ESPN. As we see the horses being brought out, the fillies for this Aegon Mile first race that we'll show you. There's Bill Mott, of course, who was one of the men in the spotlight in the Kentucky Derby as well. The trainer of Favorite Trick, and Favorite Trick has been on the minds of a lot of folks here, Kate. And this is maybe the toughest horse race all year to handicap. You might agree with that, and perhaps one of the least predictable events in American sports. And one reason for that, we don't have a lot of history to go on with these young horses. We have to look to the history of the race itself.
And you can look to some direct parallels with some contenders this year, as well as Derby winners in the past. If you take a look, in fact, at Favorite Trick, you'll find some distinct ties directly to Secretariat. For instance, he won at a mile and a 16th at 2, and so did Favorite Trick. Both were 2-year-old stakes winners and horses of the year as 2-year-olds. Won the 7 furlong stakes race to kick off their 3-year-old season, and the last race prior to the Kentucky Derby was a defeat.
Bill Mott was back in the barn this week trying to fend off comparisons to Secretariat. He said, wait a second, let's just try to get this first leg of the Triple Crown before we begin comparisons to the great Secretariat.
And this last defeat raised some doubts, too, as to the ability of Favorite Trick to handle the distance. Pedigree doesn't suggest that ability, and neither did it with Secretariat before the Derby, but then after the Triple Crown, there were no more doubts.
Mott called that a, quote, slight miscommunication between Pat Day and Favorite Trick at Arkansas. Wrote the loss off to that.
Yeah, loss seems to be a good sign, but win is not bad either, and there's a horse that comes off a victory that has some direct ties to a past Derby winner as well, and that would be Victory Gallop to Sonny's Halo. Both were bred in Canada. Both as 2-year-olds won stakes races at a mile. Then this year came back to win the Rebel Stakes and the Arkansas Derby, and that sweep just a 2-race prep for the Kentucky Derby, which some would consider a little light in terms of the preparation time to lead to the 1.25 miles here today. But I don't think you can knock a horse coming off a winning effort.
Victor Gallop, if form holds, will try to pass some tired horses in the stretch. A real battler. This horse has won 3 times by less than a length. Alex Solis will ride Victory Gallop, the Canadian bred. One of the guys who lost narrowly to him with our Jeff Metters. Jeff?
Well, with Jerry Calvin, the trainer of Robin Wood. Talk about the decision to bring the horse to the Derby.
Well, after the Arkansas Derby, we realized that he lost an awful lot of ground. He didn't run his race and only got beat 6 lengths. And the horse of the year was 3rd in the race. So after weighing everything and talking to our jock, Early Fires, we felt like that, you know, with a little better effort and a little better trip, that he might have a real shot in this race.
Sun's shining. The track is pretty honest. Starting on the outside, do you like it or not like it?
I would rather it had just a little more cushion on it, maybe. Maybe if it had still been muddy, it might have helped us a little bit. He seems to like the mud. So we'll just have to run on whatever we got.
We're taking a look now at Robin Wood. As an outsider, if you were an outsider looking in, how would you like Robin Wood in this race?
I think, well, if you were just looking at the paper on him, the past performance, probably you wouldn't like him very well, but he's a much better horse than his past performance shows.
And if you're looking for a long shot that could possibly win the Kentucky Derby, well, you may want to look at Robin Wood.
Jeff, thank you. Yeah, Robin Wood, one of the horses that would really be an upset if he were to come home. You see the garland of roses? You got to keep those things fresh until about 5:30. We're closing in on racing now. Churchill Downs, we're back after this.
Frank, I'm thinking about moving to another swamp.
No, really?
I'm just not comfortable living in a swamp where assassination attempts are taking place. Every loon with a vendetta, every snake with a sinus headache frightens me.
Hey, snap out of it, Louis. Everybody knows it was you.
Oh, Frank, I had no motive. I love Budweiser, and I love the frogs.
Oh, yeah, you're good buddies. I forgot.
Excuse me, if you would remember last summer, I invited them to that barbecue.
Yeah, well, Louis, you wanted to cook them at that barbecue.
But at least I invited them.
Oh.
You wouldn't have invited them at all.
A thoroughbred farm is like any other sports franchise.
Swell again, slow it go.
You've got the proven veterans.
But it's still Seattle Slew.
And you've got the promising rookies. Even when you've got the talent, there's always building that team. That never stops. Our biggest fans are our clients, and we've got to perform for them every day. And that's why I can say to every client of this farm, at 3 Chimneys, the focus is your success.
Let's go!
Vacation travelers know that when it comes to renting a car, there's really only one place to go, National Car Rental, especially if you're going to the happiest place on earth. Because as the official car rental company of Disneyland in Southern California, National gets you in your car and on the road fast. For a family vacation you'll never forget. So what are you waiting for? Let's go to Disneyland with National Car Rental.
But a legendary band like the Bay City Rollers ought to rock and roll. The seniors ought to golf. They've endured decades on the road. They've transcended generations of hairstyles. And they can still get out in front of a frenzied crowd and tear the roof off this mother!
National Car Rental Racing Across America, presented by Visa. Comes back to Churchill Downs as you swoop over the paddock area where the folks are mingling, waiting for race number 5. Well, Paris, France has the Eiffel Tower and the Arc de Triomphe. Paris, Kentucky does not, but the little town in bluegrass country can boast a tie to some great monuments to racing history. Chris Lincoln explains the common thread that runs through almost half of the Triple Crown colts.
In the long history of thoroughbred racing, only 11 horses have won the Triple Crown, the sweep of the Kentucky Derby, Preakness, and Belmont. 5 of those racing immortals were conceived at Clayburn Farm in this old historical breeding barn that serves as the pillar of the industry in Paris, Kentucky. 1930, Gallant Fox was bred here, a son of Sir Galahad II. In 1935, it was Gallant Fox's own son, Omaha, who was bred and foaled at Clayburn. Glennon II is buried in this cemetery at the farm, where he sired the great Whirlaway, who swept the crown in 1941. The immortal Secretariat, a son of the Clayburn stallion Bold Ruler, returned to the farm for his stud career after sweeping the classics in 1973. And the 1977 Triple Crown champion Seattle Slew was bred, foaled, and raised on the farm. Longtime Clayburn yearling manager John Sosby has a theory about the magic of this old breeding barn.
I think here at Clayburn you'll see pedigree. And I think pedigree will always win out. There will be times where somebody will maybe get lucky with a horse. I think when you come right down to the final summary, I think that you'll see pedigree will always weigh out. And we have always been fortunate here at Clayburn through the years to have that pedigree either in the stallion or our clients with their brood mares.
Well, you just heard John Sosby say that pedigree will always win out. Well, with me, rather ironically, is Bill Mott, who trains Favorite Trick, and all the pedigree experts say that in this case, pedigree will not win out in the Kentucky Derby. Your thoughts on the pedigree of your horse and your chances later today?
Well, we hope we become one of the exceptions to the rule, that the pedigree that he's got will carry him 1.25 miles. He definitely trains like a horse that'll get a route of ground, and we proved in Arkansas he'll get a good 1.1 miles. But he's a very efficient mover and has good use of himself, and to watch him train, you would definitely think he's a horse that wants to run on. I mean, he starts his work slow, he finishes fast, he does all the things that you'd think you'd want a horse to do to get him a distance of ground.
And Bill, I think maybe one of the ironies here is that as you look at the reputation of Bill Mott as a trainer, you've had so many horses that have won at classic distances. Cigar, of course, the most notable of those, but others as well.
Right. I mean, we've trained a lot of horses to go a distance of ground. I mean, Cigar and Theatrical and Paradise Creek, and there's been a number of good horses, and some being champions, and we'd like to add this horse to the list. He sure does give indications that he's a horse could get the trip. And, you know, of course, today they're all going to have to carry a new weight. They're all going a new distance for the first time. They're going that extra furlong, and they're carrying a little extra weight. We've got to find out if they can carry the 126, and it's a new test, and that's what makes it all so interesting.
Speaking of carrying weight, you carried a lot of weight with Cigar, obviously. This was a horse that was supposed to win almost every time he went to the racetrack. You tasted defeat. Of course, you've only had the horse for a couple of runs at the Arkansas Derby, and I'm wondering if that race changed your opinion, deflated your view of this horse one iota.
I think actually I probably gained a little respect for the horse since he was defeated, but he showed that he was a fighter. He showed that he could put up with a good, tough, hard pace on the front end, and still he tried to finish hard at the end of the race, and he didn't fold up with 1/4 of a mile to go, and he kept battling. And I think, you know, if we can conserve that speed a little bit more early on in the race. He's got the fight in him internally to give it everything he's got when he turns for home, and I can't tell you whether he's going to win, but I think he'll be out there trying.
Well, that certainly is the intriguing question of the Derby. Bill, best of luck.
Okay, thank you.
Bill and his son Brady on hand in the paddock as we set up the Aegon Mile for you, our first live race here on ESPN. This is for $100,000. It is a grade-free event. This is our fillies and mares, and we're going to be on the grass this time, and most of these fillies like to come off the pace. We have a nice balanced field of 10 of them. Colcon for one, with Jerry Bailey is one that likes to come off the pace. A couple of interesting horses. Wayne Lucas, not necessarily known for grass horses, I think has an interesting filly in Natalie, too. And if you're looking for perhaps a filly that might steal this on or near the lead, number 10, Wishful Thinking, might fill that bill. Again, most of these fillies like to run off the pace. That may benefit the front-running Wishful Thinking, though she breaks from the 10 hole. I'm looking at the tote board right now. They've made Colcon the 2-to-1 favorite, but trust me, folks, this baby is wide open. Back to Chris.
Thank you, Bob. That's what's known as a strong lean, folks. The Mott does have the favorite, Colcon, with Jerry Bailey aboard. Our first live race on Derby Day on ESPN coming up in a couple minutes.
There's a school where the toughest courses are the most popular. Lectures are a joy, and no one oversleeps an 8 a.m. class. This renowned institution is the Nicholas Flick Golf School.
Can you feel that?
Yeah.
Where the faculty is unparalleled.
Your elbows soft.
And the dean has 6 masters.
People might confuse you for a golfer.
When you go, bring your Visa card. Because at the Nicholas Flick Golf School, they don't take American Express.
You've done your homework.
Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
In 1998, one of the hottest sires is Jade Hunter at Brookside Farm in Versailles, Kentucky. His son, Hallery Hunter, won the Bluegrass Stakes to rank as one of the year's best 3-year-olds. Another Jade Hunter son, Clover Hunter, took the Golden Gate Derby in California. In New York, his 3-year-old daughter, Best Friend Stro, won the Grade 3 Busher by 13 lengths. And in Florida, the 4-year-old filly Key Hunter was an easy stakes winner. Jade Hunter's sons and daughters have already earned over $1.4 million in 1998.
Delta, British Airways, Northwest, KLM, United. All of these, in fact, most of the world's major airlines, domestic and international, rely on this oil company for fuel. When it really counts, they seem to be the one to count on. With that in mind, what kind of gasoline do you think they'd make for your car? You'd be right. Citgo, when it counts.
What's my prize? Simple. To create a sports magazine readers love.
What's the word on Phil Jackson? Why is Jerry Krause breaking his horns? Dennis, Scotty, Michael, are they completely unstoppable or just totally unbeatable? And hockey, lots of hockey. Printed, baby.
Back at Churchill Downs, just minutes away from post at the Aegon Mile. Fillies and mares, 4, 5, and 6 years old. Mile on the turf. Janine Edwards, what do you think?
Competitive race, and I'm standing here with Don Shepard. He is the chairman of Aegon USA. First of all, Mr. Shepard, I'd like to thank you for your participation in our wonderful sport, and we were kind of thrown for a loop. We thought that this was your first year sponsoring this race, but actually it's just a name change. How did that come about?
Last year we merged with the Providian company that's been sponsoring this race for 9 years, and the new name is Aegon.
So you've been here since 1990, you said?
1990, correct.
I bet you've seen some exciting Aegon Miles.
Well, I've only been here, this is my second year personally, but I loved it last year and watched B.A. Valentine win the Providian Mile last year.
She's hoping to defend, but she's not one of your picks. Who are the 2 horses that we were talking about?
I have Colcon as my first pick and Rumpy Pumpy for my second pick.
And we agreed on Rumpy Pumpy because we think she's coming up to a big race. She finished 3rd behind Maxine in her last start, maybe rounding into form. So we'll keep our eyes on Colcon and Rumpy Pumpy. And you heard it from the man himself, Don Shepard of Aegon. Back to you, Chris.
Janine, thank you. Rumpy Pumpy, the English-bred horse, in the 4 slot at number 7. Natalie, too. Caden has the strong connections, the Stevens-Lucas connection. Very interesting. Horse bred here in Kentucky, but racing down in Peru, and you don't see that in a racing form a lot.
And the quality of competition in Peru, not what she's going to encounter here in her first North American Stakes try, but she does come off a winning effort at Keeneland on a good turf course. Now she gets a firm turf course today, and very different composition of the turf course here at Churchill Downs from that at Keeneland, but off to a very good start when she's that acclimated, that adjusted right off the bat at first asking.
Some support at the windows at 5-1, but perhaps not as much as you might expect given Lucas and Stevens' involvement, and Gary's been a little bit of a roll on the turf the past couple of days here.
And he is riding Natalie, too, for the first time. The filly style is to come from off the pace. This is a flat mile, kind of shorter turns, a long run into the first turn, though, but that can compromise horses that have to come from far off the pace. Horses with tactical speed might have a little bit of an advantage the way this particular type of race plays.
Let's let Bob Newmeyer check in. Gave us a little bit of a lean before. Bob, let's be more specific.
Well, Chris, I'm going to go with number 10, Wishful Thinking, only because I think there's a chance for a nice pace scenario, even though she has the outside, not the best spot at a flat mile. The fact that there is no other early speed, I think, will play to this filly's benefit. I do think, however, that we could be in for a real treat. I think this is a very balanced race. It would not surprise me at all if there are 5 or 6 horses within 2.5 lengths of each other when we cross the line after the mile on the grass here at Churchill Downs.
By far the most career earnings in the field, as we see one of the horses having trouble going into the gate.
The 4 Rumpy Puppies already in the gate, acting up just a little bit, which is causing a backlog, so to speak, behind the gate. And we saw the 5D Pontius, a filly coming off a 4th place effort at Santa Anita. She's capable of some very nice races. Rumpy Pumpy is a horse that is bred in Europe. Jose Santos, a top turf rider, seems to have a knack with grass runners and finding holes. Makes it real exciting, though. But Rumpy Pumpy's another one that comes from off the pace. She was a winner on a soft course at Saratoga against very good competition in the Diana.
It was De Puntillas, the 5 horse with Kent DeSormo, that had to wait now as they backed the 4 horse out.
Yeah, they'll back her out. She was getting agitated as she got into the gate and refusing to load at all. And sometimes the better course is to just back up, start over, try it all again. You see, they'll try to get her calm and relaxed a little bit more before they try once again to lead her into the gate. And this can be disconcerting to some of the other horses, too, that have to stand behind the gate and wait. Also, the horses that are already loaded have been standing there for an awful long time. And you want to be on all 4 feet, poised and focused when they spring this gate.
Rumpy Pumpy now going in. De Puntillas alongside her. And we're set almost for the race call to the voice of Churchill Downs now and Kurt Becker.
She waits to stride into line right now. In fact, Sellers won this race 1 year ago, but he was on B.A. Valentine, who's back, but under Pat Day this year. So Sellers with a different mount, Wishful Thinking, who still stands back behind the gate. Rumpy Pumpy appears to be standing much more calmly than she was when she loaded the first time. And also breaking toward the far outside, Natalie 2, whom we talked about earlier. Gary Stevens aboard. He has won all 3 of the stakes races on the grass here at Churchill Downs so far during Derby week. Now the 5, De Puntillas, appears to be getting a bit fractious inside the gate. And the rider shifting around, Kent DeSormo. And now she backs out of the gate, number 5, De Puntillas. So earlier the problem was with Rumpy Pumpy, and now with the filly or mare just to her right in line, De Puntillas, who at 7-1 is getting some play in this race, and who many feel will be a factor in the stretch. Right now, let's go back to Kate and Brader.
De Puntillas getting very agitated in the gate. You saw one of the handler starters try to take her ear. Just kind of, when they grab that ear, sometimes it diverts their attention. They settle down and act right. She hasn't started in quite a long time. Sometimes that can cause a horse to get a little nervous behind the gate. It's not a positive sign, to say the least, but there are horses that are bad actors in the gate that actually settle down, run their race once they get out of the starting gate.
What does it do for the horses that now must wait in the gate almost 3-4 minutes since they began loading?
Yeah, it can really bother them, and it can also bother the other jockeys around, because now their mind is focusing on other things than the race itself. They've got to get back in the game as quickly as possible now that that filly loaded. Hopefully the rest will come into line in short order.
Let's go back to Kurt after the call.
They're at the post, and they're off. B.A. Valentine is away quickly for the early lead. No one else willing to come with her in the opening strides, although Wishful Thinking now decides to move forward from the far outside. But B.A. Valentine will have the lead by a length and a half. Wishful Thinking will track in behind her, heading into the first turn. And then Arctica, who's third, just inside of Natalie 2, followed by Cut the Cuteness, who's placed toward the outside. Then Rumpy Pumpy in toward the hedge. De Puntillas on her outside. Swear Engine joins them. Cold Con is next to last at this point, and Street Lena is the trailer for the move up the back stretch, the opening quarter in 24-1. B.A. Valentine dictating the tempo and leading Wishful Thinking by 3/4 of a length. Break of nearly 2 more to Cut the Cuteness on the outside, who's third by 3/4 of a length. And then Natalie 2, who's fourth and 4 lengths off the leader. De Puntillas, Swear Engine behind her. And then Street Lena, who's caught wide, rounding the far turn. Cold Con and Rumpy Pumpy both have some 10 lengths yet to close if they wish to catch the leaders, and they're at the quarter pole. Wishful Thinking moves by on the outside to get the lead into the stretch. B.A. Valentine is second, but still there. Cold Con is mounting a charge on the far outside. Swear Engine is there with her, and Cut the Cuteness is fifth. Wishful Thinking chased by Cold Con in the final furlong, and Wishful Thinking is very game to this point. Cold Con will have to find more. She won't be able to get there. Wishful Thinking wins the Aegon Mile.
The 10-horse and Bob Newmeyer's selection, Wishful Thinking, with Shane Sellers up, wins the Aegon Mile, hanging on as a 5-to-1 shot.
Outside post position didn't compromise her at all, but you know, I don't think the race went the way Bob or anybody else expected it to, because Wishful Thinking appeared to have a speed advantage and actually didn't end up on the front right off the bat out of the starting gate. It was B.A. Valentine, who usually does her best running. In fact, won this race last year coming from off the pace. This time a little sharper. Maybe waiting in the gate got her a little more on edge.
Bob's selection still counts, even though we didn't forecast the race that way. So it's now 9 wins and 15 career starts for Wishful Thinking.
And as you see them come down the lane, keep in mind that as Cold Con there in the orange on the outside tries to mount her charge, she has been all out from the turn, and actually the horse is inside of her, drifting her out, so she's not able to get into her best stride through the lane. Meanwhile, Wishful Thinking was close early on, very close to the pace that she likes to run there in the green and white, and jockey Shane Sellers was content to sit in second most of the way, move up to the lead, take over, and then coast home, while Cold Con had to do most of the work. Very impressive effort, though, for a filly. This is probably her biggest stakes win to date.
Her form says she can win from the front or stalk. Wishful Thinking, winner of the Aegon Mile. More racing coming up as we continue on Kentucky Derby Day from Churchill Downs on ESPN.
So I'm back.
There's certainly no wearing much.
I know. In my town. Hey, lady. What is 24/7?
24/7 is
24 hours a day,
7 days a week.
You want to trade hats? Is this real Dalmatian? Watch your back, watch your back. Oh, very nice. Everything all the time. We're here to please. Thank goodness you're here. David? I don't think so.
I can't believe it.
Oh, man, these fishnets are riding me. Vegas, I'll see you next month.
What do some of the greatest horses of this century have in common?
Secretariat is widening now. It's moving like a tremendous machine. 49er and seeking the goal. Wow! Oh, what a finish! And it will be Lure once again. The 2 Derby winners with the wire together. The 116th run for the Roses goes to unbridled.
What do all these great horses have in common? Clayburn Farm, where legends begin.
When you're renting a car, you don't always want to drop it off where you pick it up. And with National Car Rental's one-way rate program, you don't have to. You could pick up your car in Jacksonville and drop it off in Nashville. Or pick it up in Los Angeles. Drop it off in Las Vegas. In fact, with National Special one-way rates, you can pick up your car almost anywhere and drop it off almost anywhere else with no separate drop-off fee. So what are you waiting for? Let's go!
National Car Rental Racing across America, presented by Visa, continues from Churchill Downs on Derby Day. 2 races to go before the feature race, the 124th running. There is Wishful Thinking, filly who has just captured the Aegon Mile.
Owned by Leslie Grimm, trained by Niall O'Callaghan, a conditioner who had a horse by the name of Night Dreamer, a 3-year-old, was a possible Kentucky Derby starter. This is a small consolation for Niall O'Callaghan to pick up a win at least on Derby Day. Night Dreamer will wait to the Illinois Derby, different Derby. Shane Sellers picks up his 2nd straight win in this race.
Wishful Thinking, not tremendous support of the window besides Bob Newmeyer, but had the top career earnings in the field, had always been a solid filly. Bob?
And as you mentioned, Chris Fowler, she has won from off the pace before. Last year, in fact, 2 graded races. By this time, she's put away B.A. Valentine, and her only threat now will come from the orange silks of the favorite in the race, Colcon. And Jerry Bailey, you can see him slashing her. She's about 5 wide. But this filly, Wishful Thinking, has some class. As I said, she won in a mile and an 1/8. So you knew the mile would be no problem, and Shane Sellers had enough petroleum in the tank to hold off the fast-closing Colcon at a nifty 5-1. So Wishful Thinking, ring it up for Shane Sellers. Chris?
And ring it up for nice prices as well. Colcon hits the board for the 9th consecutive race, but Wishful Thinking pays $12.80 to win. Swearing In, which went off at a pretty good price. 3rd place horse, the Exacta, not bad, $42.40.
And while the turf course listed as firm, yesterday it was listed good, should have been slower, but actually the fraction is very comparable to yesterday's, at least early on. 1/4 mile in 24-1, 1/2 mile in 48-3, and that was with Wishful Thinking close to the pace there, 1:12-3 for 3/4, and the final time of 1:37-1, quite a bit off the track record.
Bill Mott hoping that Colcon's 2nd place finish here, not a motive, or a motif, I should say, for Derby Day. Now down to Janine.
Well, Chris, I have the happy connections here of Wishful Thinking. Trainer Niall O'Callaghan. This filly looks like she really has blossomed on the turf for you.
She has. I mean, she runs everywhere. She's 9 for 15. She runs on the turf, the slab, the mud, the dirt, everything. She's a runner. I mean, she just loves to win, and when her horses come to her, she holds them off so strong. She's got a tremendous heart, determination, and she's just easy to train. Anybody could train this one. She just likes to win.
No Derby for Night Dreamer. Where will we see him next?
Probably we're going to the Illinois Derby next Saturday, but this is great to win on Derby Day, and we're delighted. I want to thank Mr. and Mrs. Grimm. They're up in New Jersey today watching, and they weren't able to make the trip, and I want to say thanks and congratulations to them, and hope they're here for the next one.
Okay, congratulations, Niall. Good job. Jockey Shane Sellers, tell me about your trip. Did the delay going into the gate affect her at all? Obviously not.
Well, it didn't help her because she's a speed filly and was coming from the 10 hole. We was hoping to get over and not get hung wide. And she's such a, she's got a great mind on her, and she kind of fell asleep back there. So we didn't get off the way we wanted. But in the end, it worked out in our favor. We was able to lay off the speed and not lose any ground in the turn. She's just a fighter.
Yeah, here she is. She has to hold off the late charge, of course, of Colcon, but maybe it worked in your favor because then you had enough left at the end.
It did, and like Niall said, she's a hard-trying filly, and she's a joy to be around, and you know, she's the kind of horse that you really, really like to ride and enjoy riding, and you feel bad for her when she gets beat because she tries so darn hard.
Another hard trier, parade ground later?
Yeah, very excited about it. I really am. I'm glad I got one under my belt and get the jitters out, and we're ready for the big one.
And hopefully the horse got the jitters out, too, back in the barn, so we'll wish you the best of luck later on. Shane Sellers, and also congratulations to Niall O'Callaghan once again. Chris?
Janine, thank you. If you can't win the Kentucky Derby, and Sellers believes he has a chance on parade ground, as do a lot of insiders here at the track, it's nice to win a race on Derby Day. Not much barn buzz on Chilito other than the awful workout times. If you're looking for reasons to support the long shot winner of the Flamingo Stakes in today's Derby, you may have to search for one, but you could look at the lucky number 5 post. The most successful Derby post in this decade has been number 5, with 2 winners coming from that position. Strike the Gold captured the roses in 1991 for Nick Zito's first Derby triumph. And Silver Charm's victory last year was also Bob Bafford's first trip to the Derby winner's circle.
67 Corvette 327, 9,000. Vacuum. Vintage design. Great gift. $10.
Honey, how about a beer?
Parrot. Tame and talkative. Will sacrifice.
Where can 1.2 million readers every week find Pittsburgh's most active marketplace?
Single white male. Athletic, outdoorsy, outgoing.
You know who I am? I'm the President of the United States.
Air Force One is the most breathtaking, emotional, thrilling, powerful motion picture event of the year.
Can't give in to their demands.
Harrison Ford, Air Force One, rated R.
Center these school announcements. All Philadelphia public and parochial schools are open today. No transportation. Delaware County closed are 452, 454, 455, 461, 2 hours late. No morning kindergarten. 503 is closed. 505 is closed.
He shoots and scores. What a play.
Welcome back to ESPN's Kentucky Derby Special. Counting down to the 124th running, one of the most competitive, toughest to handicap, and compelling in a long time. You can see it unfold live on ABC Sports. As soon as we are done, they pick up coverage at 4:30 Eastern Time. Post time is 5:28. The smoldering hot Bob Newmeyer now takes a look at the Derby field.
One winner does not a genius make, Chris, but I'll take credit. Thank you very much. But we have bigger fish to fry, and that is the Kentucky Derby. We'll get to our selections a little bit later on in this show. But I thought we'd give you a few capsule comments on the horses that will go to post. And we begin with hopeless long shot, #1, National Or. This horse has never won a race. Why is he in the Derby? Ask the owner. It's a free country. #2 is Real Quiet. And he hasn't won this year either, but 2 close seconds, one to Indian Charlie, another to Artax. Pedigree experts say no. Speed figure boys say maybe. #3 is Hallery Hunter, the model of consistency. Runs off the pace. Charismatic owner Rick Patino, affable trainer Nick Zio. They've filled reporters' notebooks with quotes all week. He's a legitimate win threat. Cholito's a speedball that will try to take the field on the lead from gate to wire. Only 5 horses have done that since 1907. Then we go to Hanneman Highway. He's a gelding, and geldings are 0 for 71 since 1930 in the Derby. Fast closing second. The Arkansas Derby could make a big superfecta or trifecta. Favorite trick, horse of the year, 9 for 10. Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner. Looks like 6 to 5 on paper. Why not? Pedigree boys say 1.25 miles. No way. Indian Charlie's the now horse, unbeaten in 4, super impressive in the Santa Anita Derby. Jockey Gary Stevens, the best big money rider in the business. He's the morning line favorite. Rock and Roll's a world-class mare, but hardly Kentucky Derby form. Owners Madeline Paulson and Jenny Craig had no problem ponying up the entry fee. If this one wins, they'll go to rock and roll heaven. Parade Ground ran 3rd in the Wood Memorial, so did Secretariat. That's where the similarities end. But he's a big price. He too could fill out a nice juicy try or super. Cape Town, so many pluses. Excellent form, regal pedigree, D. Wayne, Bailey, proper running style, another legitimate win threat. Artax has been overlooked by the bettors who apparently have ignored his trainer's claim of health problems. Big price on the board if he runs his race. Could be part of the action. Victory Gallop, 2 for 2 in Arkansas, including a come-from-behind win over favorite Tricky's 5 for 6, but class-wise might be a cut below these. Sturdy, consistent, a money threat. Old Trieste, Smoke, has billowed from the stopwatches of the clockers of his AM workouts, including 109 for 6 furlongs. He's a blazer. He'll wing it as far as he can. Basic Trainee is part of the 2-horse mutual field. He's a big, long shot. He's out of a spectacular Bid mare, and Bid was the last favorite to win the Derby. No favorite here. Robin Wood has the best recent run, a second to Victory Gallop in the Rebel. If he's a little lonely, don't blame him, because he will be the only starter in the auxiliary gate. So that's the field for the Run for the Roses. Chris?
Bob, thank you. There are historical reasons why most of these horses are not supposed to win this race. Look at the prices now.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see Hallery Hunter at 6 to 1. Nobody's jumping on the Nick Zito bandwagon. Maybe they don't like that last win prep race jinx.
The Patino factor could have Bramley produced some more bettors, but this is not Lexington, it's Louisville.
Nice price for favorite Trick 2 at 4-1. Indian Charlie remains a lukewarm favorite at 7-2.
And Parade Ground at 18-1. There'll be a lot of insiders tossing money down on that horse at a pretty good price.
No surprises towards the outside. The longest shots on the board, the least desirable post positions.
And Charlene Hawks is with a man who knows a lot about not Run for the Roses, but the Rose Bowl, Charlene.
Isn't that the truth? Making his first trip to the Derby, University of Michigan head football coach Lloyd Carr. And yes, you had a big year last year. AP National Champs, Rose Bowl winner, Heisman Trophy winner, first defensive player ever to win, Charles Woodson. What's this next year going to look like?
Well, that's a good question, Charlene. We've got our work cut out for us, but certainly we've enjoyed all the great things that have happened to us as a result of last year.
Oh, yeah, well, very big congratulations. Now, how did this Derby trip happen?
Well, you know, I've always wanted to come down here, and I've never had the opportunity till this year, and so we came, and we're having a great time, great weather. You know, they were expecting rain, so it's a clear, beautiful day, and it's incredible, the people, and, you know, the pageantry, the tradition. You know, I love the Rose Bowl, and, of course, this is another Run for the Roses, so it's a special day.
You like roses? Oh, yes. Now, this might be a stretch, but is there any way that we can compare taking a look at horses and recruiting football players?
Well, I think, you know, it's always the heart, whether it's a football player or a horse, that is important. And so I think from that standpoint, there's, you know, a lot of things that you can compare.
What horse do you think has the biggest heart?
I don't know. You know, I had a chance this morning to visit with some of the trainers, and you know, I'm not smart enough to know who's got the biggest heart.
Hope your pick is good. Good luck to you. Thanks.
Charlene, thank you. Celebrity City here at the paddock in Churchill Downs. Jack Nicholson been hanging out with the Paulsons, owners of Rock and Roll, the other Belmont horse in the Kentucky Derby. The countdown continues here at Louisville right after this.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Fortune 500 companies know that when it comes to renting a car, there's really only one place to go. National Car Rental. Because at most major airports in America, National gets you in your car and on the road fast. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. National Car Rental. Most companies that make canopies for our nation's jet fighters look to this oil company for a critical component to make them bulletproof. When it really counts, they seem to be the one to count on. With that in mind, what kind of gasoline do you think they'd make for your car? You'd be right. Citgo, when it counts.
It's the way we welcome the sun with 35 sunblock. The way the best water now mostly comes in bottles. It's the way we make time for exercise and like to enjoy reading. Today, more and more people are finding reasons to live healthier. That's why Subway offers 7 subs, each under 6 grams of fat. Because when you're through surfing, you might want to put on a bathing suit. Subway, it's the way a sandwich should be.
The NASCAR ride-along program puts you in the action.
At Talladega this one time, I blew a left rear tire doing about 190 miles per hour. Boy, you talk about a mess. Then when the dust settled, about a 20-car pileup. Pretty scary, huh?
Listen, Chachi, I drive a cab through the Bronx. At night.
NASCAR on ESPN.
National Car Rental Racing across America, presented by Visa, returns from Churchill Downs. Bo knows horses. Bo Derek back at the Kentucky Derby once again this year. In '96, Bob Baffert came within a nose of winning the Kentucky Derby, came within a neck of winning the Triple Crown. Last year was Silver Charm, and he's been constantly entertaining on the backside this year. Baffert and his buddies in their yellow coats. Leslie Visser takes a look at Baffert and company.
Indian
Indian Charlie is the more celebrated of the two Bob Baffert-trained Derby hopefuls, but Real Quiet, the more aggressive horse, has a connection to Baffert deeper than Indian Charlie. Baffert has surrounded himself with a merry band, including Mike Pegram, the McDonald's franchise owner who's kept Baffert in Happy Meals for more than a decade. When Bob Baffert switched over from training quarter horses to thoroughbreds, his good buddy Mike Pegram gave him a stake of $400,000. Baffert, who didn't know how to thank Pegram, said if he ever won the Kentucky Derby, he'd remember his loyal friend.
Silver Charm to the front. On the inside, Freehouse. On the outside, Captain Bodgett. It's Captain Bodgett on the outside. Silver Charm at the rail. Those two to the wire. Here's the finish. Silver Charm by a neck with Gary Steve.
I want to thank Mike Pegram. Without him, I would have never been here. He got me from the quarter horses. Says, come try thoroughbred. So, Mike, this is for you, my man. Robert.
I thought I may never be up here again, so you better make the best of it. So it was just your emotions. You don't know. I was just being myself, but I mean, it was just, and Mike was there, and
Oh, I was jumping up and down with the sign, "Don't forget about me, Bob." You didn't do it. I had the cue card. We've been rehearsing this for 10 years.
They met at Los Alamitos back in 1985, a relationship that's still about sunglasses and jeans.
First time I met Bob was at Los Alamitos. They told me to go find a guy with a cowboy hat. There was about 500 cowboy hats there. And I had a girlfriend at the time that was a pretty good-looking girl, and Bob ended up finding me.
Last year, Baffert traded in his cowboy hat for something a little more formal.
He looked better in a cowboy hat. Isn't that ridiculous?
Did you think much of him as a trainer?
I wouldn't have known what a good trainer was, but I knew he was a good person and a good friend, and we had a lot of fun.
Baffert bought Real Quiet, a son of quiet American, for only $17,000, speculating on what a good athlete he could become.
You know, I loved his body.
The body, you called him Fish.
The fish, well, from the side, I call him a tropical fish. From the side, he looks great like a tropical fish. When he comes at you, he was real narrow.
While the horse may have come cheap, the friendship is priceless. Have you ever thought about not having him?
Oh, no. If Bobby would get out of the horse business, I'd get out with him.
I feel the same way about him.
Baffert and Buddy's a lot richer after Silver Charm's $2.2 million payoff at the Dubai Cup. Part of the festivities here today flew in the same plane along with the Baffert horses, Indian Charlie and Real Quiet, here to Churchill Downs. With more, here's Jeff Metters.
Well, the Baffert barn right now is playing the waiting game, a game that paid off for them a year ago. And I am with Owen Hardy, who is the right-hand man for Bob Baffert. Silver Charm is here 1 year later and been quite a celebrity. Why is he in the barn?
He's here, you know, Bob's been back here for about 2 weeks, and he hates to be away from Silver Charm for any length of time, so when we shipped the string back here, he decided to put Silver Charm on the plane where they could keep an eye on him.
How much have things changed in the last year?
You know, things have changed a lot. I wouldn't say we got a lot more horses, but we got a lot more quality, a lot more depth, I would say, than we had before. Things are pretty hectic, you know. Before we just had the horses that kind of fit into the Southern California circuit, and we stayed there with them mostly. But now we got horses that, you know, they fit into different spots, different stakes around the country, so constantly on the road running somewhere.
Well, Bob's really jumped into the limelight with both feet, and that has to help an assistant trainer who's on his way up as well.
That's certainly helping me financially. I don't know about anything else. I'm still waiting for that millionaire, so if anybody sees him out there, send him my way.
Which of the two starters that you guys have today do you like best?
You know, they're both training very well. Indian Charlie he's a naturally brilliant horse. He's just got the, you know, the class and the ability to win this thing. I don't know, there's some concern over his seasoning. He's only had 4 races. But Real Quiet, he's a hard-knocking horse. He's a real trier, and if I had to pick one of the two, I'd pick Real Quiet.
Well, if Baffert can saddle another winner, look for Owen here to be in the winner circle with him as well.
Jeff, thank you. They really believe in that barn. The program is rolling, and this is not going to stop anytime soon. Churchill Downs bathed in sunshine on Derby Day. More racing is coming up, but another look at the field, the feature race.
Come on, let's go faster, faster. He's really driving us. He's killing us. I'm pulling away from you. It helps, though. I don't think I could do it on my own. I know. This is the longest I've ever stuck with a workout program. Well, they say motivation is the key. You can do it. Come on, you bunch of bodybuilders. I don't see any sweat.
No wonder you can never get a bike around here.
working for?
You disappear. For a few hours, you disappear. You become a yelling, screaming, jumping, partying, thrill-seeking, horse-loving, king-crazy pirate man. You need to disappear! Go, baby, go!
Fire like this.
It has the power to excite you. It has the power to move you. It has the power to take you places you never knew existed. It is, of course, your Visa card, with the power to get you a seat to Michael Tilson Thomas and the San Francisco Symphony at Davies Symphony Hall. So bring your Visa card, because you can't get in using American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
The art of tennis, as played by the masters. Tennis on ESPN.
The beautiful aerial pictures in our Kentucky Derby special, brought to us by the Bud 1 Airship. We appreciate their beautiful pictures and support all week long here at Churchill Downs. A reminder, Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. It's the White Sox and the Angels. In prime time tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Frank Thomas, Tim Salmon and company flashing at 8 o'clock Eastern time. It's not the White Sox or the Angels, but folks in Boston, we're going to shift the focus now. Actually, a couple of New Yorkers and one transplanted Bostonian. Rick Patino in the Celtic Pride Sable. Bob Newmeyer's no transplant. He's a true salty New Englander. He has a thought on this new consortium.
Well, Chris, you're right. I was born and raised and still live in the great city of Boston. And as a kid, I had a chance, of course, to watch one of the greatest dynasties in sports, the Boston Celtics. And they coined the term Celtic pride. And over the years, it's meant people like Bob Cousy and Bill Russell, John Havlicek, and lately Larry Bird. But today here at Churchill Downs, Celtic pride takes on a whole new meaning. In basketball, Rick Patino is the ultimate hands-on, in-your-face head coach. Fair, yet demanding. Patino's parameters are simple. His way or no way. But in racing, as principal owner of Celtic Pride Stable and Derby hopeful Hallery Hunter, Rick is just the opposite. Totally deferential to his trainer, Nick Zito.
And then I say, Nick, do your job. We believe in you. We trust in you. It's your team. Go ahead and do it. I'm in the background having fun. This is my vacation, not my vocation.
Patino knows full well the loves of those who live in the bluegrass. It's the horse and the race, of course, but it's also the game of college basketball. That he helped build a national championship at the State's University places him on the highest pedestal in this land, but he has the same regard for the state's horse owners and breeders.
Well, it's like catching lightning in a bottle, because I don't own that many horses. You know, I have good friends like W.T. Young and people who have horse farms, Bill Farish, and certainly I mentioned Seth, who, you know, they've been in this business for years.
In his final days at Kentucky, Patino's powerhouse Wildcats were supposed to win. But in the Bluegrass Stakes at nearby Keeneland a few weeks ago, his horse Hallery Hunter came in a long shot.
Everybody said doesn't fit for your type of race. No speed in the race. We're a big closer. Certainly nobody to set the pace. Lil's Ladder's on fire. And the Derby looks better for us because longer stretch. The horse bears out. We come on the rail. Great ride by Gary Stevens, and we close. We're a very consistent horse. I'm hugging all the people at Suffolk Downs Turf Club, and we're having a wonderful time. And totally a surprising thing for me. We're yelling at the TV screen as if Hallery could hear us, and Hallery wins the race, and we're ecstatic.
Since then, jockey Gary Stevens has opted to ride the undefeated Indian Charlie, not Hallery Hunter, in today's Run for the Roses. Filling that void took an imaginative night's sleep and a very superstitious trainer.
Nick picks the jockeys. Nick picks where they run. That's his job. It's his team, and he's obviously going to coach it the way he wants to coach it. But Nick speaks to Jersey Red, who's the general manager of Celtic Pride Stable, at least in his mind, because Jersey's a Damon Runyon character, and says, Jersey, Gary Stevens may not ride the horse. He said, well, you're not going to believe this. I've never met Corey Nakatani. I've never seen Corey Nakatani. I hear he's a great rider. And Nick says, oh, he's one of the best. So I had this dream. I woke up last night in a cold sweat that Corey Nakatani was a Bud Hallery hunter, and we won the Kentucky Derby. So Nick starts knocking on wood, looking up this guy, says, you really had that dream? He said, yes. He said, he's an unbelievable jockey. If you had that dream, let's get him if Stevens doesn't take them out.
And so today, Rick Patino comes to the Derby for the 9th straight time, but the very first as an owner.
We come down the stretch, and Hallery picks it up, gets a piece of the purse, or wins it. It'd be a wonderful experience. If he doesn't, you can bet for my 9th straight Kentucky Derby, I will have a great time.
And he's having a great time along with his entourage here at Churchill Downs. Rick would tell you that he's a very fortunate guy, but I think it's more than luck when, as a basketball coach, he went into Boston University and Providence and the Knicks and the University of Kentucky, and very soon he will lead the Boston Celtics back into the playoffs. You can believe that, to bring Celtic pride full circle. Back to Chris.
Yeah, but Nick and Rick stood up and picked post position number 4 at the draw because it was Lou Gehrig's number. That is betraying New York roots. Horses headed to the paddock for our next race on the Derby Special after this.
Vacation travelers know that when it comes to renting a car, there's really only one place to go. National Car Rental. Especially if you're going on a Walt Disney World vacation. Because as the official car rental company of Walt Disney World, National gets you in your car and on the road fast. For family vacation you'll never forget. So what are you waiting for? Let's go to Walt Disney World with National Car Rental.
Let's go! Let's go!
It's the way we welcome the sun with 35 sunblock. The way the best water now mostly comes in bottles. It's the way we make time for exercise and like to enjoy reading. Today, more and more people are finding reasons to live healthier. That's why Subway offers 7 subs, each under 6 grams of fat. Because when you're through surfing, you might want to put on a bathing suit. Subway, it's the way a sandwich should be.
All across the country, from small communities to big cities. By building on the success of local independent businesses, Citgo has grown surprisingly big. In fact, Citgo now has over 14,500 locations to serve you nationwide. That's more locations than any other company of any kind in America. Surprised? Don't be. Citgo, when it counts.
For nearly as long as there's been a Kentucky Derby, there's been a Clayburn Farm. And through the decades, the impact of Clayburn and its stallions on the world's greatest race is without equal. From Bold Ruler, sire of the immortal Secretariat and grandsire to 5 Kentucky Derby champions, to Swale, Ferdinand, Go for Gin, and Unbridled, 1990 Kentucky Derby champion and sire of Grindstone, winner of the 1996 Derby. Clayburn Farm, where the run for the roses begins.
The 1998 Kentucky Derby Special on ESPN is brought to you by Visa. It's everywhere you want to be. Brewery Fresh Budweiser, who reminds you fresh beer tastes better. The National Thoroughbred Racing Association. And by Whitnauer Watches. For the Whitnauer jeweler nearest you, call 888-4WIT.
And welcome back to Churchill Downs. It's not just any other day at the races. We've seen some hats here today. That's in my top 3. Not a Caton, who has a guy who's got a significant interest in the Triple Crown in this race.
And a significant interest in racing on the whole. Carl Pasquarella, President and CEO of Visa USA. Carl, Visa now in its 3rd year of sponsorship of the Triple Crown. A unique relationship, certainly a successful partnership so far. Tell us about it.
Absolutely, Caton. Very, very good for us from a business perspective. Fits right into our integrated marketing program. I can't think of a more aspirational event in the United States or probably any place else in the world than the Kentucky Derby and the Triple Crown. So we're very, very pleased to be part of that.
And this year the partnership takes kind of a new and unique twist with the 25th anniversary celebration of Secretariat and a traveling display. Tell us about the details of that event.
Well, we're very, very happy to be affiliated with the 25th anniversary of Secretariat's great Triple Crown win. And we've had an opportunity to share in transporting that memorabilia throughout the United States.
at the Triple Crown events and other places as well. The Triple Crown trophies, Ron Turcotte's paraphernalia. It's going to be wonderful. And we think it's going to be a great year to have a Triple Crown winner while we're celebrating the 25th anniversary of Secretariat's Triple Crown win.
Couldn't think of a better thing. The traveling display on display now at Churchill Downs. Where else will it go?
It's going to go to Texas. It's going to go out to California. And, of course, at the other Triple Crown events as well. So it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful event. And we're pleased to be a part of it.
Well, Carl Pasquarella off to a very good start, I might add, as a horse owner, with both your horses yesterday knocking on the door, and a big, exciting weekend to come. More good luck to you.
Keaton, thank you very much.
Now we'll go back to Bob Newmeyer.
We have a live race for you in just a couple of minutes. It is called the Humana Distaff, and these are for sprinters. But this time the Distaff version, fillies and mares. Let's set the conditions for this particular event. Again, they will travel 7 furlongs, the elongated sprint distance. The purse, $100,000. It's a grade 3 event. Good to see Dick Mandela in town. He trained Stop Traffic. Dick, of course, had the great gentleman in training last year. Good to see Dick from the West Coast, but lots of other interesting fillies and mares in this field as well. Aldiza, number 9, is trained by Shug McGahee. Now, he trains Coronado's Quest, who's a top-flight 3-year-old. Not in the Kentucky Derby today, but we'll be hearing from him down the road. This is a very, very talented horse. Morelia ships in from the fairgrounds with Corey Nakatani and trainer Louis Roussel. And, of course, he saddled Risen Star to win the Belmont Stakes several years ago. And the favorite, Speed from the outside. Mark Hennig is the trainer of Colonial Minstrel at 5-2. So that's the setup for the Humana. Now back to Chris Fowler.
Bob, thank you. Velasquez on Colonial Minstrel. 3 straight wins after returning to the main track following some unsuccessful tries on the turf. Humana Distaff is coming up from Churchill Downs.
TCI and the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette are proud to present Community Champions. These individuals are making a world of difference by volunteering their time to support their neighbors and communities. We salute them for their efforts and for making Western Pennsylvania a nicer place to live. When Bernadette Carnes brought the Boy Scouts of America to her public housing community 2 years ago, she provided a group of at-risk youth the opportunity to achieve their full potential. Bernadette Carnes, our community champion.
Satellite TV, hundreds of channels, better than cable, sounds great. Forget about it. First, the guy tells me I need all this hardware. Ka-ching! Then there's installation, another $200 bucks. No problem. Then I find out I can't get local channels without a separate antenna. What's up with that? I watch local news, sports, and weather twice a day. And get this, with satellite TV, the same channels I already have with cable could actually cost more. Satellite TV? No thanks. I'll keep my cable.
Cable TV, the best value in home entertainment.
Center does take its toll. For Kenny Mayne, I'm Dan Patrick. Good night.
Clear?
Once we finish a show, we do it all over again for the overseas markets.
3, 2, 1.
Buenas noches, amigos. Me llamo Kenny Mayne. Same highlights, same anchors, different dialects.
Dos Vidania. Menu Zabut, Boris Patrick.
Vut, Kenny Mainsky. To touch people all over the world, that's special.
Feel the excitement of Derby Day at the Kentucky Derby Museum. The Kentucky Derby Museum is the largest equine museum in the world. It features an award-winning multi-image show, high-tech hands-on exhibits, tours of Churchill Downs, and a live thoroughbred exhibit. Enjoy lunch in the Derby Cafe. The museum's Finish Line gift shop has the right gift for every Derby fan. Located at historic Churchill Downs, the Kentucky Derby Museum is open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day but Thanksgiving, Christmas, Oaks, and Derby.
Welcome back to National Car Rentals Racing Across America, presented by Visa. ABC Sports, once again, proud to bring you live coverage of the Kentucky Derby itself. It starts when we're done here at 4:30 Eastern Time. Full hour of pre-race analysis before post time at 5:28 Eastern Time. Now when the Derby is over, come on back to ESPN2. Today at the Derby, highlights of full hour to look at the excuses, the winners, the losers, and every replay you could possibly imagine at 6 o'clock Eastern Time on ESPN2. You hear it all the time that we need a true superstar to emerge from the 3-year-old field. Same exact story 25 years ago when on Derby Day the handlers for an ordinary-looking horse named Secretariat went to fetch their colt for the Derby and found him asleep in his stall. A couple hours later, he'd won a very close Kentucky Derby. 5 weeks later, of course, he had captured the Triple Crown and awakened the racing world, becoming one of a very few select athletes in sports history. As one travels back through the history of sports to name the greatest of all time, you could argue that other boxers may have been better than Muhammad Ali, or perhaps question whether Michael Jordan is the best ever. But when it comes to horse racing, most agree that Secretariat was the greatest thoroughbred ever. Of course, all great champions are defeated at times, but when it comes to big races, none compare to the great Secretariat.
Secretariat on the outside to take the lead. Jam holding in second. It's Secretariat moving away. He has it by 2.5.
His sub-2-minute run in the Kentucky Derby still stands as a record today. This amazing horse arrived at a time when America needed heroes to cheer for. In 1973, Richard Nixon's administration was beginning to unravel as details of the Watergate break-in and cover-up were being uncovered. That same year, a quarter century ago, the Supreme Court issued its ruling in Roe versus Wade, assuring women of the right to an abortion and setting off a debate that continues today. The Middle East was in turmoil in '73, causing the OPEC oil embargo against the U.S. Lines to get gasoline were longer than those to get into the Churchill Downs infield on Derby Day. In the midst of the madness, the Secretariat story knocked the chaos off the covers of Time and Newsweek. In sports, the era of the dynasty was drawing to a close as UCLA won the last of its 7 straight NCAA titles. In baseball, 1973 was the year that American League owners decided to add the designated hitter. Little did they know that 25 years later, these specialists would make more a year than the total payroll of most teams in 1973. That year, Reggie Jackson and the outspoken Oakland A's gave us a glimpse of the future with their facial hair and outlandish ways, winning the second of 3 straight world titles. In auto racing, the Winston Cup Championship went to Benny Parsons, setting the stage for his future role at ESPN. Secretariat was still the greatest name in sports 25 years ago. He lived up to the hype. After becoming the first 2-year-old to win Horse of the Year honors, he repeated the feat as a 3-year-old. In 1973, Big Red ran 12 races, winning 9. He placed twice and finished 3rd once. It had been 25 years since a horse had won the Triple Crown, which made Secretariat an instant sensation. His record performances in all 3 races made him an enduring one.
They're in the set. Secretariat has opened a 22-length lead. He is going to be the Triple Crown winner.
It's now been 25 years since these events took place. Many have dimmed in our memories. Some we choose to forget. But time has not obscured the greatness of Secretariat. I was a 10-year-old that year. My fans and I were not yet big horse racing fans. Secretariat made us so. His popularity is still so enormous that so many visitors still come to the Kentucky Derby Museum here at Churchill Downs and wonder, where is Secretariat? Not realizing that he moved on years ago. Down to Charlene.
Well, Chris, a man who hails just across the river from Louisville, so you know all about Derby tradition. Where were you in 1973 and when Secretariat made a name?
Charlene, I'm not real sure, but I know I wasn't here. 73, I don't think I was here, but it's great to have you all here. It really is. How about the sun that we're having for you all? Isn't that beautiful?
Hey, finally, it's been raining all day.
No, it's been very depressing around here.
Fuzzy, tell me, what's your favorite Derby tradition?
Well, just coming over here, to be very honest with you, I just like being in the mix and being in having the fun of the Derby, the excitement of it. It's like a big major golf tournament. You know, this is a major thing for the horses, and it's fun to see. I got to call them athletes because they're in such great shape. It's fun and very enjoyable to watch the athletes run around that track.
Now, you've got your program book. You've been studying. I haven't seen anybody else carrying around this kind of information. What do you think?
Yeah, you know, the one thing about Churchill that a lot of people overlook when they try to bet a horse, especially in the Derby, is that we have such a long stretch run. It's a long way from that last turn to the finish line. So you always try to go with a horse that's got that last kick. So I'm going to give you a couple of them here. Cape Town, Parade Ground, and Real Quiet. Those are the three that I'm going to be betting this year.
Okay. Well, they 1, 2, and 3.
I don't care how you bet them.
You don't care.
I always box them up, so I get all three of them. I figure if those don't work, I'll bet some more of them. So.
Well, thanks for your assistance in our picks. We'll have to take a look. Back to you, Greg.
Shirley, thank you. Fuzzy knows his ponies. I'm not sure we can say the same for these folks. At least somebody is glad it's rained this week. The Mud People here in our Kentucky Derby special.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
At National Car Rental, we believe that when it comes to renting a car, there's really only one place to go. Because at most major airports in America, National gets you in your car and on the road fast. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. National Car Rental.
The land that is Airdrie Stud was home to Lexington, who more than any other single stallion gave life to the sport of kings in America. Today at Airdrie, 16 stallions, some directly descended from Lexington, all with backgrounds to suggest more than a possibility of major sire success, are in residence. At Airdrie, the wellspring of American thoroughbred breeding continues to flow as bountifully as when Lexington reigned. The Airdrie Stallions, your key to racing profit.
I wish I had an elephant. An elephant who'd always play with me. Bye-bye. But wishes are like elephants. They're bigger than can be.
Okay, maybe you can't give her everything her heart desires, but with the humongous purchase power of the Visa Platinum card, maybe you can. And besides, you never know what she'll want next.
Cheddar coming better, and I got to earn. My little partner playing soccer called him Michael Burns. All right, who's next? All right, Mauricio. What rhymes with Cienfuegos? Anybody? What rhymes with Cienfuegos?
The gate is set for the Grade 3 Humana Distaff. Fillies and mares, 4 and up, traveling 7 furlongs. The odds update now. 2 races to go before the Derby, and stop traffic at 4-1. Sky Blue Pink, which would have gotten some support scratching in this race.
And towards the outside, the main contenders, including at 5-2, the favorite Colonial Minstrel. Tough outside post position, but 7/8 of a mile. Actually, the outside horses usually get away from the gate cleanly and quickly. It's hard to not like her record. Aldiza also getting some support from Shug McGay. He's faring at 3-1.
Aldiza, full sister to the juvenile filly champion Althea. That out of Bob for his thoughts.
Well, Aldiza was a strong horse last year, but she ran, I think, rather poorly at Keeneland in her only comeback race. But this is the one that I'm kind of looking at, and this is Morelia. She comes to us from New Orleans, the fairgrounds, and that memorable ownership duo of Louis Roussel and Rene Lamarck. Of course, they trained Risen Star to win the Belmont Stakes. She's a model of consistency. She can run on the lead. She can sit right off the lead. She hasn't run in 6 weeks. That noise you hear in the background is Sylvester Sly Stallone greeting his minions down here in the paddock area, making his way to Celebrity Row. But I don't know if Morelia can pull a Rocky here, Chris Fowler, but at 8-1, he is a long shot like Rocky Balboa. So let's go with Morelia in this sprint.
Bob Morelia glad to see Sky Blue Pink, the number 5 horse, scratch. That is the only horse to defeat Morelia this year. Just 3 minutes to post. We're coming back with the Humana Distaff at Churchill Downs.
And British man of war passing Skull Point. Prime the cannon. Arr, I can see my room from here. Let me show you my Vegas. Nice enough to light the whole place up for me. First time to Vegas? Yes. And you?
My third. My 44th trip.
Winner, winner, lobster dinner.
Tomatillo. People are so exciting.
Mine's a blue convertible. And you, my lad, have to walk the plank. No need to spit. Anything, all the time. That's Las Vegas.
Delta, British Airways, Northwest, KLM, United. All of these, in fact, most of the world's major airlines, domestic and international, rely on this oil company for fuel. When it really pounds, they seem to be the one to count on. With that in mind, what kind of gasoline do you think they'd make for your car? You'd be right. Citgo, when it counts.
What do some of the greatest horses of this century have in common?
Secretariat is widening now. He is moving like a tremendous machine. 49er and seeking the gold. Wow! Oh, what a finish!
And it will be Lure once again.
The two Derby winners hit the wire together.
The 116th run for the Roses goes to unbridled.
What do all these great horses have in common? Clayburn Farm, where legends begin.
Now from the KYW Training Storm Center, the school announcements. 461, 2 hours late in the morning kindergarten. 503 is closed. 505.
Welcome back to Churchill Downs. Just a couple minutes of post from the Humanana Distaff for fillies and mares. 7 furlongs. Kate, what do you think?
Well, I'm interested in the 9 Aldiza, trained by Shug McGahey, and McGahey on a bit of a roll, kind of an unusual roll. Yesterday, a horse he partially owns won the Kentucky Oaks, Keeper Hill, but Top Horseman in Aldiza has beautiful pedigree, like 7/8 of a mile, and has a class edge in terms of what she's been competing against. Jockey Jerry Bailey on board rode her to a narrow defeat. Last time out, she was gaining ground at Keeneland, and I think she's hitting her best stride quite literally in her second start of the year. Make Haste is my long shot special, though, towards the outside from the connections that will bring you parade ground in just a little while.
Well, Aldiza, the second choice, is coming off a second of that number 11 horse, Make Haste, which is going off at 25-1 right now. It is a good upset pick.
Make Haste had a couple more races this year, but had legitimate excuses, and she's another one that's a 7/8 specialist, has never tried Churchill Downs before. I hope she likes it.
Stop Traffic, the third choice, and also the number 3 horse with Pat Day up, lightly raced. Only one start the last 12 weeks, based in California.
And Colonial Minstrel, the favorite on the outside, is trained by Mark Hennig, who has a lot of experience at Churchill. Colonial Minstrel comes off 3 straight wins. We mentioned that is no easy feat for any horse, regardless of the company.
Quickly down to Janine.
Well, Chris and Caton, I agree with you that Aldiza is the class of the race, but she was awfully hot and washy in the post-parade and going to the gate. I kind of like Richard Mandela's filly Stop Traffic. He didn't come here just to shoot for the moon. He is the West Coast giant killer, as we all know, destined for the Hall of Fame one day for sure. Pat Day looking for his second win of the afternoon. And I'll tell you, this filly is ultra consistent. First or second in 9 of her 10 races in 1997.
And now to the voice of Churchill Downs, Kurt Becker for the call.
Waiting for one more filly to move into line. That would be Colonial Minstrel, who will break from the far outside. Wears number 12 in the yellow and black colors of owner Edward Evans, a Mark Hennig trainee with John Velasquez aboard. Now she strides into the gate. They're at the post. And they're off. Morelia is away well, but Meter Maid is there. City Band is also flashing early speed in between those two. And Stop Traffic is away, running a very close-up 4th. Colonial Minstrel is 5th on the far outside. Break of 3 more lengths then to Valid Bonnet, Mama's Pro, Show and Tell between those two. Another gap of 3 lengths back to Snappy Little Tune and Aldiza, who is 10 lengths off the leader. Then a break of over 5 more back to an unhurried Make Haste, who is the trailer after a first quarter in 22 2/5 seconds. Meter Maid, the leader, onto the far turn by 3/4 of a length. City Band is second by a neck. Morelia and Colonial Minstrel further out, who's caught 4 lanes off the rail and moving on the far outside. All the while, Stop Traffic has stayed in tight toward the rail, just 3 lengths from the front. But the front 4 in a line across the track at the quarter pole. Meter Maid, the leader. Colonial Minstrel driving at her from the outside as they move toward the 8th pole. Morelia, then Stop Traffic, who's weaving and looking for some running room. She'll take to the far outside. Up front, Colonial Minstrel gets a narrow lead from Meter Maid. Stop Traffic has clear sailing, but not much ground left. Colonial Minstrel, Stop Traffic. Colonial Minstrel gets up to win it. Stop Traffic was second, Meter Maid was third.
So Aldiza out of the money in the favorite, Colonial Minstrel. 4th straight win after returning to the main track. Didn't like the turf too well, Caton, but she's got 4 straight wins now.
Yeah, in this race, the way it was run might tell us a lot about how the track is playing on the whole. Even at 7/8 of a mile, we saw the 3 and runner-up That would be stopped traffic on the rail early on, not clear until the last part of the race, and she didn't seem to gain as much, had to get a little tired being stuck on the fence all the way. Meanwhile, the eventual winner, Colonial Minstrels, towards the outside, all the way around, widest of all, in fact, 4 wide through the turn where she loses the most ground. John Velasquez knows she's the best horse, though, never gives up at any point in time, and gets her into gear through the lane, showing why she was able to put together those 3 consecutive victories, now make it 4 in a row. And you see, stop traffic, making a good late run once she gets to the middle of the racetrack, but she didn't do much running early on the rail.
And Velasquez taking Colonial Minstrel well off the rail. We've noticed that all day long. It's not running real quick in there. Perhaps not as slow as yesterday, but something to file away for the Derby. We will come back. Up next, the early times. Turf Classic. Race before the Kentucky Derby. The Colonial Minstrel, winner of the Humanana Distaff.
Let's go!
Vacation travelers know that when it comes to renting a car, there's really only one place to go, National Car Rental, especially if you're going to the happiest place on earth. Because as the official car rental company of Disneyland in Southern California, National gets you in your car and on the road fast for a family vacation you'll never forget. So what are you waiting for? Let's go to Disneyland with National Car Rental.
They call it the sport of kings, but you can get a Sunday silence for a minimal amount and win a Derby. The intrigue behind it all is that a cheap horse can turn out to be a champion. All the social events that surround the race or a day at the races, that's what it's all about. Just to get to the Derby, just have a horse run the Derby. I don't care if he loses by 50 lengths. I'd be real excited.
Make your bid for success at Keeneland Selected Yearling Sale.
It's the way we welcome the sun with 35 sunblock. The way the best water now mostly comes in bottles. It's the way we make time for exercise and like to enjoy reading. Today, more and more people are finding reasons to live healthier. That's why Subway offers 7 subs, each under 6 grams of fat. Because when you're through surfing, you might want to put on a bathing suit. Subway, it's the way a sandwich should be.
When you're here, you will be expected to conduct yourself in a manner befitting the occasion. You will not remain seated, you will not keep it down, and you will not proceed with caution. And, if appropriate, you will jump up and down and yell, "Go! I'm a winner." Go, baby, go. Come on, come on, come on. Go, baby!
Welcome back to our Kentucky Derby special on ESPN. Counting down to the main event. We've just seen Colonial Minstrel, 12 horse, and the favorite winning Humanana Distaff.
Owned by Edward Evans, a homebred, in fact, by Pleasant Colony. There's another name from the Triple Crown past. Trained by Mark Hennig, protege of D. Wayne Lucas, now a top trainer in his own right, and John Velasquez up.
Let's go down to Bob. Bob, you noticed something in the stretch run there?
Well, Chris, strict rules of racing, you must maintain a straight course at all times. Watch Colonial Minstrel in the yellow way on the outside. It's going to veer in right here from about the 4 path to about the 2.5 path and cut off Marilia, who was tiring at the time. But the stewards rule here that Colonial Minstrel was well clear of Marilia, so it's a no harm, no foul situation. And Colonial Minstrel goes on to hold off that late charge on the outside of Dick Mandela's filly Stop Traffic. But that's the case in that scenario. Even though there was a check early in mid-stretch, the horse was well clear, so no need for inquiry, objection, or any steward's action. Chris?
Not even in your part, Bob. Okay. Charlene Hawks down on the turf terrace, and one of the most popular guys in this state as of a couple months ago. Charlene?
The fans are going nuts down here for Coach Tubby Smith. Very popular man here in Wildcat Country. Now, when you won the national championship, was it a little bit like Steve Young winning the Super Bowl and stepping out of Joe Montana's shadow?
Well, I don't know. Rick Patino has meant a lot to me in the Kentucky program. I was there when he first arrived back in the early 90s to turn the program around. So I feel very fortunate that we had good players when I came there this year. Great leadership all year long. Really came together. Sometimes it's like the horse racing here at the Derby. You know, when everything comes together and you're successful, it's a lot of people, a lot of things that are involved with it.
And Rick Patino is back with his horse, Hallery Hunter. What do you think his horse's chances are?
I think they're great. Certainly I've been impressed with, how it's coming on of late. kind of like we ended the season, winning 13 games in a row, winning the national championship. That's the way Howard Hunter is coming on at this point in time.
Now, speaking of that national championship, I have to admit something to you. I wasn't very happy when you won. I'm from Utah.
Oh,
but to show no hard feelings, I have a gift for you.
Right.
This is a sweatshirt. The Salt Lake City 2002 Winter Games. We hope you'll come visit us.
Well, we hope. Salt Lake City's a great city.
Thank you. Good luck to you next year. Good luck today. Chris?
Oh, that's nice. Gift giving down there, and I appreciate that. Here are the official prices. Nothing all that spectacular in the Humana. Colonial Minstrel paying $6.20 for the win. Stop traffic, the second choice, coming in second, and Meter Maid paying $5.80 to show. Down to the winner's circle in Janine.
Well, I'm here with the connections of Colonial Minstrel. It was a very, very exciting race for you, trainer Mark Henning. You told me you trained this filly's sister, so is this a family affair for you?
Well, we had a filly named Minnie Dar who's a half-sister to her, and she got real good at the age of 4, and she was a sprinter also. We went a couple different ways with this filly on the grass and tried to run her long, but we've gone back to what her sister did best, and she's fallen right into line with it.
Congratulations. John Velasquez, your trip, you were laying up close early.
Yes, I was. I mean, she got plenty of speed, though, you know, in the first part, and she's just going to take you to a good position where you want to be, really. And then from there on, you know, from the quarter pole on, she came and dug in really hard.
Well, 1 down, 1 to go. Good luck with basic trainee.
Thank you. I'm going to really need that good luck.
Congratulations all around here. The Humana Distaff goes to Colonial Minstrel. Chris?
He knows he's going to need luck in the Kentucky Derby, though.
We'll take a look at the fractions of this race, 22 and 2. The track drying out, it's fast, solid fraction set by the horse that ends up finishing third, but not lightning fast. A full second off the track record. A sprint you would expect to be a little faster.
Plenty more on the Kentucky Derby coming up in our special here. The Early Times Turf Classic. 8 of the best turf horses in America are up next.
Right now, Sun has dozens of great gift ideas for Mother's Day. For cooking moms, Sun has Betty Crocker appliances under $8. Or a GE refrigerator, only $4.97. For relaxing moms, Sun has air conditioners starting as low as $177. Or a Magnavox TV for just $237. And for business moms, Sun has Brother fax machines under $200. Or a multimedia computer for just $4.97. Find the perfect gift for your mom at Sun.
I'm Franco Harris, co-chair of the YouthWorks Business Initiative. Join me and businesses working with YouthWorks to give at-risk youth the chance to experience real opportunity and real work. Give young people a view of what's possible. Introduce them to the idea that they can have a productive future. Contribute to your community and help build a workforce that's prepared for the 21st century. This is the way to turn kids around. Join me in helping youth. Call 281-6629. YouthWorks works.
Join TCI in supporting our community.
Program puts you in the action.
At Talladega this one time, I blew a left rear tire doing about 190 miles per hour. Boy, you talk about a mess. And when the dust settled, about a 20-car pileup. Pretty scary, huh?
Listen, Chachi, I drive a cab through the Bronx. At night. NASCAR on ESPN.
Beautiful day at Churchill Downs as we close in on the featured turf race today, followed by, of course, the Kentucky Derby. A man who's delighted to see the beautiful crowd here, 140,000 or so, sprinkled across the infield and on the grandstand. Tim Smith, the commissioner of the National Thoroughbred Racing Association. Enjoying yourself so far today?
Oh, it's terrific. This is the best that our sport has to offer, and to see all these people and the celebrities and people getting excited about thoroughbred racing, it makes my heart beat fast.
I'm sure it does. You come from a background in golf and tennis and have, let's face it, a real challenge in trying to demystify and grow this sport. But I'm interested in your ad campaign. You kind of sell thoroughbred racing a day at the track like you might sell Mountain Dew, saying get wild, get crazy, taunt your friends, have a good time, play a long shot.
Just look around here. Everybody lets loose at the races. I mean, it's the perfect escape from this confining world we live in, and a day at the races provides a tremendous entertainment value, and we're trying to bring that home in the ad campaign.
We talked about this. What can you do to make it more accessible to folks that maybe aren't racing fans 365 days a year, but would like to go out 10 to 15 times?
One of the smart things I think the NTRA did was spend almost a year on talking to the fan and, more importantly, the non-fan, and asked them what would make you more interested in thoroughbred racing. And it's a national brand, focus more on television, more continuity on television, rankings, statistics, special events, special series of races, the same things that they expect and receive from other sports. Racing now is organized to deliver with a league office.
Who do you pull for today? Is it the kind of hook you need, maybe with Favorite Trick, the 2-year-old horse of the year coming through, or is it Indian Charlie, keep the undefeated streak going?
Well, the marketer in me says Hallery Hunter wouldn't be half bad. We'd reach some of those NBA fans, and Nick Zito's such a great character and spokesman, and I don't know, there are half dozen that would be super platforms for the Preakness and our organization.
Tim, thanks for dropping by. Wish you the best of luck.
Thanks for having me.
Back to Bob Newmeyer.
Chris, we have an interesting trend in the wagering that has developed here at Churchill Downs in the Kentucky Derby. Consider that in the first 123 years of this event, only 9 times has the favorite gone off at odds of 3-1 or higher. But interestingly enough, it's happened 4 of the last 5 years, and that trend will likely continue today. There you see it. The only favorite in the last 5 years under 3-1 was Holy Bull. Now, Prairie Bayou at 440-1 was the highest favorite in Derby history, but as we look at the Derby odds for today, certainly that trend will continue here at Churchill Downs. These, again, the numbers. You see the pools now upwards of, boy, look at all that money reporting, millions and millions pouring into the windows. Hallery Hunter dead solid at 6-1, 7-2 morning line. He's drifted a tad, having trouble separating. Favorite Trick at 4. Indian Charlie, the morning line favorite, at 7-2. And Cape Town at 4-1. Those are the 3 favorites for this afternoon's race. Artax at 11. Old Trieste, despite those scintillating workouts, up there at 30-1. So unless there's a radical change in the pari-mutuels between now and post time, we will continue this amazing trend of competition in the Derby, of fans having difficulty separating the horses, of making a favorite. It will be now 5 of the last 6 years. The favorite will go to post at 3-1 or higher. Chris?
There's a reason, Bob. You guys keep talking about how this is the toughest Kentucky Derby in a long time to handicap. The favorite has been so unsuccessful. Why would anybody want to go to the money window and plunk money down on the favorite until that streak is broken? Another streak in play here. Winning from the 1 slot. Trainers, owners draw that at the post draw. They grimace. There's a reason. It's been a while. The number 1 post position has statistically been one of the least desirable in recent memory. The last winner coming from the 1 hole was Ferdinand in 1986. Before that, you have to go all the way back to 1963. And the 1 post has only produced those 2 Derby winners in the last 41 years.
Dude, get down. It's my chair. Let's go. I'm not playing games.
Okay, here we go again.
Oh, dude.
You got him right where he wants it. Just a bit outside.
Hey, those dog obedience classes really paid off.
When you're renting a car, you don't always want to drop it off where you pick it up. And with National Car Rental's one-way rate program, you don't have to. You could pick up your car in Jacksonville and drop it off in Nashville. Or pick it up in Los Angeles. Drop it off in Las Vegas. In fact, with National special one-way rates, you can pick up your car almost anywhere and drop it off almost anywhere else with no separate drop-off fee. So what are you waiting for?
But a legendary band like the Bay City Rollers ought to rock and roll. The seniors ought to golf. They've endured decades on the road. They've transcended generations of hairstyles. And they can still get out in front of a frenzied crowd and tear the roof off this mother!
And welcome back to ESPN's Kentucky Derby Special. It's been a little bit of a rainy, sloppy week. It's been a gorgeous Derby day so far. Early Times Turf Classic is up next on the program, followed by, of course, the feature race over on ABC. We'll have plenty of thoughts on the Derby between now and then. Every Kentucky Derby is special for the trainers and jockeys, but what could be more special than their first? And as Dwayne Lucas saddles his 33rd Kentucky Derby starter today, there are 8 different trainers in this race making their first Kentucky Derby start. Chris Lincoln has more on one of them.
This is 47-year-old Randy Bradshaw, and yes, he is a first-time Derby trainer with his colt Artax. But as a former 8-year assistant with Dwayne Lucas, the man who has had a record 32 Derby starters, this is not Randy's first Derby experience.
I've been here before, Chris, with Wayne, and it's a little bit different, maybe a little bit more pressure than when we were with Wayne, but I don't feel a lot of pressure. I haven't had a lot of reporters, not too many people bother me, just let me train my horse, so I feel pretty comfortable the way he's coming up to the race and the way he's trained this week.
I was sorry to see him go, but in the same token, I'm his biggest fan and booster that he does well. If I can't win this thing, he'd be the guy I'm pulling for.
And the horse he's been training is the California multiple graded stakes winner Artax, who impressed Randy from the very beginning.
Well, just everything that he did in the morning, you know, that's the only guidelines we have is what we see in the mornings a lot of time. And he was very precocious in the mornings, worked very fast, very easily. And you put a guy like Chris McCarron on him, he comes back and tells you he's an exceptional horse, you know. And Chris doesn't speak very highly of a lot of horses, but he was very high in this colt early also.
And Artax showed his stuff in the afternoon, too, as Bradshaw talked about his stakes wins in the Santa Catalina and the San Felipe.
Souvenir Copy ran up, hooked him down the backside, and I mean, they were rolling. They pulled away from the field, and eventually about the 3/16 pole, he just put about 5 on Souvenir Copy, who's a very good horse. So that, to me, was probably the turning point in his career.
Artax, super impressive under Chris McCarron, romps in the Santa Catalina. Homeward bound now, and Artax is running a superb one. Real quiet, gonna stretch him the last 16th of a mile.
The next race, the San Felipe, he ran against some nice horses, and I just thought it was a good prep for the Santa Anita Derby.
But Artax disappointed in the Santa Anita Derby as one of the favorites, running a dull third, beaten almost 10 lengths by Kentucky Derby horses Indian Charlie and Real Quiet. It was found after the race that Artax had a high white blood count, but Randy says that's behind him.
He's doing great, Chris. I mean, you watched him out there a few minutes ago. We were grassing him. He's bucking, playing, feeling good, trying to eat me, so I know he's in pretty good shape.
Artax is owned by Ernie Paragallo's Paranex Stable. Now, you remember Ernie. In 1996, he had the favorite for the Kentucky Derby, Unbridled Song, and Ernie let everybody know it, including ABC's Leslie Visser.
You've said that 18 other horses are running for second place. Do you still believe that?
Well, I know that.
This horse will win.
He's going to win this race.
And go on to win the Triple Crown?
This race is going to win the Triple Crown.
Unbridled Song led into the stretch of that 96 Derby before fading to 5th place. And that reality seemed to have changed Paragallo. It hasn't been just a good training job by Bradshaw.
Actually, I've had nothing to do with it. I just think it's one of those things, Chris, where, you know, Ernie, and rightfully so, had a favorite going into with Unbridled Song into the Derby. When you haven't been in this business that long, you tend to get a little high on one of these things, and everybody tells you how great he is. But like most people, I think you learn from your mistakes.
Perhaps this is the year for Randy and Ernie to both make Derby dreams come true.
The biggest thrill I've ever had in this game was when Winning Colors won the Derby. Just to be a part of it and be a part of the team, and it was the greatest thrill I've ever had in horse racing, you know. And I've had some pretty good horses and had some thrills. I had a horse that set a world record once, and I thought that was great. But Winning Colors winning the Derby is probably the biggest thrill I've ever had, and so I would say this would be even better than that.
One of the nice guys in the game. Meanwhile, Ernie told us on one of the shows this week if he's learned anything from that, he's learned to, quote, keep his mouth shut. Chris McCarron on Artax trying to win his third Kentucky Derby. Artax, a horse that has really been in the shadows of Indian Charlie and to some extent real quiet out there in California. As interesting and as deep as this Kentucky Derby field is now today, it might have been even deeper. But more than that, Janine.
Well, Chris, you know, in any sport, athletes must always strike a balance between keeping peak physical condition and avoiding the risk of injury. And it's certainly no different with racehorses. And unfortunately, the Derby will run this year without two of its key participants, Lil's Lad and Event of the Year. We caught up with equine orthopedic surgeon Dr. Larry Bramlage yesterday, and he gave us an update and his prognosis for their recovery.
Well, Lil's Lad had a small chip fracture, but it's a little bit unusual, and then he drove it right into the bone. So it was sort of like having a sliver in your finger, and every time you touch it, it hurts a lot. It's not an important part of the joint surface, and it's sort of a lot like taking a sliver out of your finger. Once it's gone, the thing quiets down, heals up. In fact, we just looked at him. He's on the backside. He didn't even come out of his stall as far as we kept him in the training barn. He's doing great, and he'll start walking. Oh, they may hold him back till the Derby hoopla is over, but he'll start walking, and he'll be back on the track within a month. Well, Event of the Year had a slab fracture, which is a larger piece of bone, and unlike the chip fracture where you can just remove it, the slab fracture you have to reattach and get it to heal. It was in the horse's knee, not in his ankle. Like Lil's Lad had a problem in his ankle. Event of the Year is in his knee. So we had to replace the piece and hold it there with a screw, and he'll heal it back. It'll take about 2 months, and he'll get light exercise for a month, and then at about 90 days, we're anticipating tacking him up and having him training again as well.
Jack Nicholson, he's ready to run today. There are a lot of one-name celebrities around. Sly, Bo, certainly Jack. We're coming back on Derby Day after this.
Merlin is my name. Hey! Excuse me. I didn't conjure you up. Why, no.
So I'm back. Describe Las Vegas in 4 words.
Fantastic, colorful,
exciting,
fairyland.
Do you like men in armor?
Somebody woke up on the wrong side of the magic carpet. Sorry I'm late.
Where have you been?
You wouldn't believe it.
Every time we come back, it's something new.
America's favorite playground. Can I keep them? Come on, give it up for Las Vegas!
For nearly as long as there's been a Kentucky Derby, there's been a Clayburn Farm. And through the decades, the impact of Clayburn and its stallions on the world's greatest race is without equal. From Bold Ruler, sire of the immortal Secretariat and grandsire to 5 Kentucky Derby champions, to Swale, Ferdinand, Go for Gin, and Unbridled, 1990 Kentucky Derby champion and sire of Grindstone, winner of the 1996 Derby. Clayburn Farm, where the run for the roses begins.
Top horses don't just show up for the biggest days in racing, and neither should you. When the stakes are high and the races are big, remember, nobody beats Daily Racing Form. Only Daily Racing Form covers North America's biggest races from wire to wire, with in-depth horse-by-horse analysis, features on the top jockeys and trainers, the most complete and accurate past performances, and the latest developments as reported by the best riders in racing. So remember, when the stakes are high and the races are big, Daily Racing Form is your best return on investment.
What's my prize? Simple. To create a sports magazine readers love.
What's the word on Phil Jackson? Why is Jerry Krause breaking his horns? Dennis, Scotty, Michael, are they completely unstoppable or just totally unbeatable? And hockey, lots of hockey. Printed, baby.
Now, tonight is NASCAR's night in Hollywood. Racing legends and celebrities gather to celebrate the 50th anniversary of NASCAR tonight at 7 Eastern on ESPN. Then tomorrow night, the drivers hit the track for the California 500. Coverage starts at 3 p.m. on ESPN2 with NASCAR today. Then at 3:30, Jeff Gordon attempts to defend his title in the California 500 presented by Napa. Excitement of NASCAR on ESPN. Racing of a different sort continuing in just a few minutes here at Churchill Downs. The Early Times Turf Classic, a mile and an eighth on turf, a Grade 1 $250,000 purse for 3-year-olds and up. Kate, and this is a great field of horses who love to run on the turf.
These could be some of the best turf horses we'll see all year. Starting on the inside with lasting approval. Now a 4-year-old. He made his mark against easier 3-year-old competition last time, but he has won at Churchill Downs at 6-1 with Alex Solis. Some closers in the field. Op Smile, Same Old Wish. Then Glock comes in for trainer Billy Mott with Jerry Bailey on board at 7-1. Lightly raced, but 4 for 5 lifetime. Kirkwall, a Great Britain Invader. Lightly raced with Corey Nakatani. Then Hawksley Hill Invader Renegades from California. Honor Glide moves back to the grass for the second start of the year. And Joyo Dansu are very consistent. Robbie Alvarado comes up 3 straight wins, and all this horse does is win. In 11 lifetime starts, he's hit the winner's circle 7 times. He's at 6-5.
This is the stiffest test, but the connections for Joyo Dansour, very, very confident, and a 6-5 favorite.
Now, you know, the early times involvement in racing extends past the racetrack itself to a more personal role with the establishment of the Jim Bolus Memorial Scholarship and the dedication earlier this week of the Backstretch Press Center in Bolus's name. Bolus, who passed away last spring, was a highly regarded author, reporter, historian, great friend of racing for more than 30 years. The new scholarship, directed by the University of Louisville, Bolus's alma mater, and given to a journalism student who exemplifies Bolus's standards and skills.
A beloved figure to folks who have followed the Kentucky Derby for a long time. Let's get back to Bob in the paddock.
What a unique experience, Chris, to be in the paddock on Churchill Downs on Derby Day, because when the schmoozers of the world die, they come here, because this, folks, is schmooze heaven. All of these folks, so handsome, dressed to the nines. The conversations generally go something like this. Oh, you look marvelous. So do you. When did you get here? When are you going home? Where are you staying? We have flash bulbs and cameras and good luck charms and good hopes and wishes and cheer. Folks from the United States, from all over the world here, rubbing elbows, having a wonderful time in the paddock. It's schmooze heaven, Churchill Downs, Louisville, Kentucky, and even Jack Nicholson, yes, enjoying it because it's as good as it gets. Chris?
Jeff Metters on his way to the schmoozing area of the track, but not schmoozing on his mind.
Well, they have freed me from the barn area. I'm walking with Al Stahl, who, by the way, has Joyo Dancer, the favorite in the early times. A young trainer. He grew up in New Orleans. He's been at the racetrack virtually since day one of his life. What do you think it would feel like to be bringing a Kentucky Derby contender around this turn?
Oh, contender in the Derby would be great, as long as he was a contender. If I brought a horse like this one here into the Kentucky Derby, if he was that type of horse, I'd be more than excited. I'm pretty excited right now, too, though.
Chance to bring the favorite over for the early times on Derby Day. It's not your average day at Churchill Downs today, is it?
By no means. I think this is what everybody's in the game for, and I just feel fortunate enough to have a horse to compete in a Grade 1 race, especially on Derby Day.
Growing up in New Orleans, what do you know about the Kentucky Derby? How early did you become a big fan?
1977, my first year. I've been here every year since.
Talk about the hopefuls for maybe next year. Maybe you will be making this walk in 1999.
That'd be nice. We bought some nice babies this year, or last year. They're 2 now. We got some nice colts, which obviously that's what the race is for, and we're just kind of looking forward to it. Hopefully things will work out.
Al, good luck. A chance to look around here, and this is what the athletes would see if you're walking down the tunnel going to the Super Bowl. You're walking out of the stadium in Chicago to play with the Chicago Bulls. It's hallowed ground here at Churchill Downs, and really it's walking over here. I did for the first time last year. It's one of the most incredible sights that you'll ever see.
Yeah, I've never done that before, but I do think that's what it's got to feel like. You've got the bit of a twinge in your stomach and nervous anticipation. It's a good feeling, though, and like I said, this is what I'm in the game for, that's for sure.
You see this crowd in this stadium, does it kind of shock you back to what Churchill Downs is all about? I know you have to get into kind of a routine, training every day and coming over and running your horses, but today the hats, the tradition, the spires, everything has to inspire you.
No question about it. The pageantry of it all is what makes it such a great game, and just to be able to participate in it is a privilege.
Well, it was a year ago that we walked around here. It was incredibly emotional to look up and actually see the stands, and this year a little more prepared for it, but it is an incredible sight, and hopefully pretty soon we'll see Al saddling a Kentucky Derby winner. Thanks.
Thank you.
It's emotional. Those horses, when they see the grandstand taking those steps, I think that's when they begin to realize something special is about to unfold. We'll come back.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Fortune 500 companies know that when it comes to renting a car, there's really only one place to go, National Car Rental. Because at most major airports in America, National gets you in your car and on the road fast. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. National Car Rental.
How do you
you stop a rhino from charging? How?
Travel with Joseph Van Oss Photo Safari to Kenya's land of the Maasai.
How do you stop a rhino from charging?
And you'll see a culture and a wildlife like no other on Earth.
How do you stop a rhino from charging?
But bring your Visa card.
How do you stop a rhino from charging? Give it an American Express card.
Because this photo safari doesn't take American Express.
Wait till they hear this in Nairobi.
Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Here comes Spinning World. The European storms to the lead. Spinning World is a world leader today, and Hollywood wins by 2.
But Victory Speech and Jerry Daly have won the Sprint Stakes to the Rockies.
Louis Couture's in Cafe. Louis Couture's to win. Beat this 121 by about 3.
If you want a good horse, you breed to Louis Couture, because there's no question he'll be one of our best stallions.
Whoa, look at him rocket away from the field. The hare does it here in devastating style.
Celeb, brilliant winner of the Arc de Triomphe.
And the speed, the acceleration. This is a horse in a million.
The 1998 Kentucky Derby Special on ESPN is brought to you by National Car Rental. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. Clayburn Farm, where champions begin. The National Thoroughbred Racing Association. And by the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. Get away from the ordinary and discover the extraordinary. Las Vegas. Call your travel agent.
More racing coming up shortly at Churchill Downs, but after the hoofs this afternoon, the pucks tonight on both ESPN and ESPN2, starting on the deuce as the Senators try to close out the New Jersey Devils, what would be a major first-round upset. Starts at 7:30 Eastern Time. Later this evening, over on ESPN, pucks continues. The Dallas Stars against the San Jose Sharks. San Jose on the verge of elimination, down 3-2 in that series. That's at 9 o'clock Eastern Time.
You know, we saw Shane Sellers in the winner's circle earlier today, and in the early times he'll be aboard Same Old Wish, the 3-horse. A little later in the Kentucky Derby, aboard Neil Howard and Will Farish's Parade Ground. Now, Shane Sellers comes off a banner year, earnings of more than $13 million, a win in the Breeders' Cup, his first Breeders' Cup victory, and he topped the standings in Florida and Kentucky. By all appearances, he was on top of the world, but looks can be deceiving. Like any other jockey, Shane Sellers was always on the lookout for the big horse. And destiny determined that this horse was his career maker.
Skip Away was that horse that helped me, not to say that I'm at that level, but he was the big horse that I was looking for. And I was able to stick with him for a couple of years, and he gave me a lot of thrills. And I just felt like I bonded with that horse.
After victories in the Bluegrass and the Woodbine Million, Sellers and Skip Away went for broke. They challenged America's horse, Cigar.
I got a 3-year run against Cigar, but I knew that this colt was at the top of his game, and if ever Cigar was vulnerable or if he stubbed his toes, I was on the horse that day that could beat him. And I think he stumped his toes that day.
Skip Away was voted champion 3-year-old in 1996. And Sellers was riding high as they began their 1997 campaign. But after months of peaks and valleys, Sellers was replaced as Skip Away's regular jockey. For Shane, losing him was like losing a member of his family.
Just heartbreaking. I really lost it. I lost it at the end of the year. I gave up. Believe me, I'm not an isolated case. Guys get taken off of horses every day. I couldn't get over it for some reason. I didn't feel like it was fair. I felt like I was with that horse for such a long time, and still to today, there's nobody can make me believe that I did anything to jeopardize that horse's chances of winning.
Sellers was still riding to win, but his heart was no longer in the game. Even his sweet success in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies turned bitter when Skipaway won the Breeders' Cup Classic later that afternoon.
Really, the sad part about the whole deal is that I won my first Breeders' Cup early on in the day. And until I died, I would never be able to really enjoy that moment because I won my first Breeders' Cup, but at the same time, at the end of the day, Skipaway went and won their Classic. And it's just, it's hard to explain. I know in my heart that that was supposed to be me. As soon as the race was over, I was washing my face, and then I went ahead and I let it out, and I was trying to hide, and tears came. I couldn't hold them back, you know.
Zeller's depression continued throughout the fall, but he was philosophical about his loss.
I'm way too hard on myself. I never do anything good enough. I want to always do something better.
With the support of his wife, Kelly, and their 3 children, Zellers began to turn it around in 1998. He scored a Derby double by winning both the Florida and Louisiana Derbies on the same weekend. Today, he'll try to make history aboard Parade Ground. But even if he doesn't, Shane Zellers is back in the game.
I don't need to win the Derby. I really don't. I'd love to win the Derby, and I'm going to try my best to win that race as long as the good Lord gives me the opportunity to stay in the saddle. But I do not have to win the Derby.
In a sport that has unimaginable highs and unthinkable lows, it's often tough to find a balance. But Shane Zellers has beaten the odds.
Don't get me wrong, I love this game. I love riding racehorses. Just the game gets tough at times. And only the strong survive.
Shane Zellers is very strong. He comes from a small town in Louisiana, and while he's very emotional, he's really just driven to provide a better style of life for his family, and I think he would be very emotional, actually, if he were to win the Kentucky Derby. Very pleased to do it, too. You know he's riding to win.
In case you're not a big race fan, it's impossible to have proper respect for these athletes unless you watch what they do and really risk their lives up close all the time. What does it mean to a jockey that'll win the Kentucky Derby? We heard Fuzzy Zoeller earlier comparing the Derby to the Masters. Is it like the tennis or the golf majors? If you don't have one in the resume, there's always an asterisk next to your name?
Until you're proven, until you hit that winner's circle, it's something that's always added as a footnote. He's never won the Kentucky Derby. Jockey Shane Zellers may be every bit as good as Jerry Bailey, as Gary Stevens, as Pat Day, as some of the others, but until he wins the Kentucky Derby, he may not be considered top of mind with them.
If today is going to be the day for Shane Zellers, it will be aboard Parade Ground, a horse still available at a pretty good price, but getting some support here in Louisville, and perhaps it has its starting post position going for it. Number 10. The number 10 post position produced perhaps the most famous Derby champion in the great Secretariat. And Big Red left an indelible stamp on that post, which has launched more winners than any other in the last 25 years. 5 additional winners since Secretariat have started from the 10 hole, the last being Lil E.T. in 1992.
67 Corvette 327, 9,000. Vacuum. Vintage design. Great gift. $10.
Honey, how about a beer?
Parrot. Tame and talkative. Will sacrifice.
Where can 1.2 million readers every week find Pittsburgh's most active marketplace?
Single white male. Athletic. Outdoorsy. Outgoing. Uh-oh.
Hey, Ed, what do you think of a TV that doesn't have TCI Digital? Okay. With TCI Digital, you get up to 46 more video and music channels. Plus, pay-per-view movies are only $2.99. You save 25%. Call 1-800-TCI-2290 and sign up for TCI Digital today.
I know people think I'm hateful. I know people don't like me much. But I do care about the game of baseball. I play the game as hard as I do, as tough as I do, for my father. It's a grand game.
warm afternoon at Churchill Downs as the countdown to the 124th Kentucky Derby continues. Post time about an hour and 20 minutes away as we check the latest updates on the odds. Pool money continues to swell.
Cholito 30-1. A lot of long shots in there with a few horses. Real Quiet 8-1. Hallery Hunter still at 6-1. Nobody is jumping on that bandwagon. A little surprised by that. And then moving through the field, Favorite Trick at 4-1. He started the day as the favorite, floating up. Indian Charlie now takes on that role at 7-2.
Parade Ground still there at 18-1. Artax at 10-1. Victory Gallop. Perhaps one to sprinkle through those exotics, as they like to say in the handicapping parlance, at 14-1, and then the real long shot starting on the outside. Almost $10 million bet in this pool. The windows here, and also with the pools feeding into the Kentucky Derby pool. Time now for our Budweiser long shot with Bob.
Very hush-hush, so keep it quiet. Don't tell anybody. But our Budweiser long shot is real quiet. That's right, real quiet. The Santa Anita Derby runner-up. He's got the right trainer in Bob Baffert, who won this race last year with Silver Charm. He was an excellent second to Indian Charlie in the Santa Anita Derby, and he is the correct price. Maybe he did not win the Santa Anita Derby, but he made up several lengths in the stretch. It was a fine effort. There you see him under Kent DeSormo. He will not catch Indian Charlie that afternoon in Arcadia, California, but maybe today under the twin spires of Churchill Downs, he can make up those 2 lengths, beat the field. And at 8-1, but please don't tell anybody. Real quiet is our Budweiser long shot. Chris?
Bob, thank you. Defying that dosage, which is a super high 5.29. If Real Quiet does come home, the dosage people will have to do those figures. Our national leaders, beginning with the horses themselves, and thanks to that monster payoff in Dubai, Silver Charm, last year's Kentucky Derby winner, earning more than $2.8 million. And now, as far as the owners, no surprise. Thanks to a healthy payoff in Dubai, the Lewises jumped in front of John Franks. The countdown continues to the Early Times Turf Classic. Next up, great race on the grass.
So I'm back.
They're certainly not wearing much.
I know. In my town. Hey, lady. What is 24/7?
24/7 is
24 hours a day?
7 days a week.
You want to trade hats? Is this real Dalmatian? Watch your back, watch your back. Oh, very nice. Everything all the time. We're here to please. Thank goodness you're here. David? I don't think so.
I can't believe it.
Oh, man, these fishnets are riding me. Vegas, I'll see you next month.
You disappear. For a few hours, you disappear. You become a yelling, screaming, jumping, partying, thrill-seeking, horse-loving, king-crazy pirate man. You need to disappear! Go, baby, go!
Fire like
Some athletes don't care about endorsements. Some athletes don't care how many fans they have or what kind of shoes they wear. Some athletes don't even care if they're televised coast to coast. They just want to run. The Triple Crown takes a lot of heart, but they don't take American Express at the ticket booth. Visa, proud to be the sponsor of the Visa Triple Crown Challenge. It's everywhere you want to be.
You know all those stories you hear about how good it was and how much fun we had and how young we all used to be, about how much it all mattered and how much we all cared and how no one has ever done it higher or faster or harder or better. All those stories you hear, they're all true.
Back here at Churchill Downs, so many angles trying to figure out the Kentucky Derby. It's been such a tough race to handicap. Most folks have tried and failed. Here is one angle, Kate, in the last race before the Kentucky Derby. Only Strike the Gold among the last 8 has won it.
Some lost narrowly, like Silver Charm in the Santa Anita Derby, Grindstone in the Arkansas Derby. Others ran horrendously, like Sea Hero, but still managed to get back to the winner's circle. But in our field, we have only 5 horses who actually come from the winner's circle in their last race to try for the winner's circle again. Some of them the top contenders, though, like Hallery Hunter and Indian Charlie.
Yeah, if you buy into this, and again, there's so many different angles to look at this. You throw out Indian Charlie, you throw out Hallery Hunter, and the folks at the window so far not prepared to do that.
Yeah, and history can only go so far because that being said, then the key to victory in the Kentucky Derby would be to try and lose the race prior to it. And I don't think anybody would want to try to do that.
Yeah, you don't want to be the favorite either. That's another one of those historical angles. Well, if you've ever tried to clean up after a humongous party, you'll appreciate this next topic. Jeff?
Well, if you don't mind, I'm going to talk a little trash, though. Unfortunately, though, it's literally, not figuratively. So much has been said about cleaning up Churchill Downs after the Derby. Actually, that's pretty easy. They have a couple of days to get things rounded up and moved out. What's tough is after the Oaks, yesterday there were 94,000 people here, and they have to get that cleaned up and have Churchill Downs spick and span by Saturday morning. Here are a few facts. They add another 400 maintenance people, bringing it to 500. So that means every maintenance person has to clean up after 175 people. There are 850 garbage can bags, 500,000 square feet of tile have to be mopped and shined, 100,000 square feet of carpet has to be vacuumed and cleaned, 1,500 windows have to be shined up, 1,000 toilets. They're going to move 35,000 chairs in the process, if you can believe that. On all, they'll pile up another 5,000 large garbage bags, and they get it all done, if you can believe it or not, between 7 p.m. and 1 a.m. So today, after your Derby party and you look around, the house is a mess, don't get too depressed, because it could be worse. It could be a lot worse.
Jeff, thank you. The cleanup job just gets bigger. This is the before picture. The after picture will look something like you just saw. Get those guys coated in mud out there to help out. We're coming back. The Early Times Turf Classic, an 8-horse field. 8 of the best turf horses in America. That's the next race on the program.
Let's go! As a business traveler, you can choose from thousands of places to stay. But when it comes to renting a car, there's really only one place to go. National Car Rental. Because when you join National's Emerald Club, you can bypass the counter, choose your own car, and get on the road fast. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. National Car Rental. Let's go!
It's the way we welcome the sun with 35 sunblock. The way the best water now mostly comes in bottles. It's the way we make time for exercise and like to enjoy reading. Today, more and more people are finding reasons to live healthier. That's why Subway offers 7 subs, each under 6 grams of fat. Because when you're through surfing, you might want to put on a bathing suit. Subway, it's the way a sandwich should be.
Whitnauer has been making remarkable timepieces for over 100 years, but never one like this. The Whitnauer Hard Metal Collection. Sleek, sensuous, sophisticated. Let others notice you got there first. The Whitnauer Hard Metal Collection, a time machine to take you into the future. Tomorrow's watch, today.
Storm Center Beach school announcements. 461, 2 hours late in the morning kindergarten. 503 is closed. 505.
The 1998 Kentucky Derby Special on ESPN has been brought to you by National Car Rental. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. Visa. It's everywhere you want to be. Brewery Fresh Budweiser, who reminds you fresh beer tastes better. Sitco, when it counts. And by Subway, the way a sandwich should be. Ground transportation provided by National Car Rental. For worldwide reservations, call 1-800-CAR-RENT.
Get a glimpse-eye view of Churchill Downs. The horses are on the track for the 7th race here, the race just before the Kentucky Derby, the Early Times Turf Classic. It's a 1 1/8 miles. Grade 1 stakes, $250,000 purse for horses 4 to 8 years old. These are very accomplished horses who know the turf very well, and an interesting duel here expected at the windows between the Irish-bred Hawksley Hill with Gary Stevens, one race before getting on Indian Charlie, against Joyo Danseur.
And Joyo Danseur with Robbie Alvarado on board, who also rode Lasting Approval, a very nice proven turf horse, top 3-year-old last year on the grass. Robbie Alvarado went with Joyo Danseur, the favorite, on the outside, and it seems as though this one has enough speed to actually control the entire flow of the race.
It's been a pretty good racing program so far for the favorites. Down to Bob for his thoughts. Bob?
Well, last night on our handicapping show in the Deuce, trainer Bob Baffert gave me the zing, said I spent too much time looking at speed figures and not enough at horses' appearance. Well, Bob, I'm going to have it both ways in this case, because Joyo Danseur not only is a top-class horse on the grass and has outstanding speed figures. This horse took my breath away when walking by in the paddock about 10 minutes ago. Just a magnificent-looking son of Nureyev. His coat gleaming with sparkling health. I was tempted to pick Hawksley Hill until I saw this big guy walk by, and even at 6 to 5, I'm going to have to go with the chalk here, Chris Fowler. Just too much class for Joyo Danseur. Janine, how about you?
You, Bob. Joyo Danseur is the class of the field. But, you know, I am from Maryland, and I do have sort of a sentimental choice in here, and that would be number 2, Ops Smile. Bill Boniface didn't come all the way to Kentucky because he thinks this horse might run good. I'm sure he's expecting a big race from Ops Smile, second race back off a 5-month layoff. And I'll tell you, this horse butted heads with the top turf horses in the country last year.
The horses are loading up. There's some support for Glock with Jerry Bailey, who won the 97 early times.
Glock could be any kind of horse. Billy Mott, Jerry Bailey, Alan Paulson, son of Theatrical, hit the winner's circle 4 or 5 times. Lifetime, this is by far and away his toughest test.
Loading nicely as we go back to Kurt Becker for the race call.
And Joyo Danseur, the last horse, now gets set to move into line. He's the favorite. They're at the post. And they're off in the early times Turf Classic. Lasting Approval is away in good order toward the inside. Honor Glide and Joyo Danseur on the extreme outside, and Glock is up close in between horses. Hawksley Hill is being restrained back from that early battle up front. He's got Kirkwall right there toward his inside. Joyo Danseur still out toward the center of the course, just keeps inching forward to get the lead, but Glock is going to be there to occupy the lane right next to the hedge heading into the first turn. Lasting Approval goes third toward the inside. Hawksley Hill moves up on the outside from fourth within a length and a half to 2 lengths of the leader. He's got Honor Glide flanking him, and then Kirkwall before a gap of nearly 4 lengths back to the 2 trailers, Same Old Wish and Ops Smile. Opening quarter 24 and 2. They got a half in 48 and 2/5 seconds. Joyo Danseur, the leader by a length, but Glock and Hawksley Hill and Lasting Approval are all bearing down on him heading into the far turn. In fact, he stays out wide enough. He leaves the 3 inside lanes open, and Lasting Approval moves all the way up to get the lead ahead. Hawksley Hill is there toward the outside. Joyo Danseur now rallies back as Lasting Approval loses ground around the far turn, coming to the quarter pole. And Joyo Danseur withstands this challenge. He stays toward the outside, leading Hawksley Hill by a length and a half. Lasting Approval is third, then Kirkwall and Honor Glide. Moving by the 8th pole, Joyo Danseur, awakened by the rider, maintains the lead by 2. Hawksley Hill, then Lasting Approval. Kirkwall to the inside is fourth, but a tremendous front-running victory in the early times Turf Classic by Joyo Danseur.
A very strong favorite in this race with Robbie Alvarado up. Joyo Danseur continues the trend toward favorites today. A dominant performance, Kate.
And deceivingly easy, because this horse was in the middle of the track all the way around. He appears to be kind of a difficult horse to ride, actually. Doesn't want his rider, Robbie Alvarado, to take any hold of him at all. Try to control him in terms of steering or slowing down. And that's why it's sort of an unorthodox trip, to say the least, but it gets the job done.
His only loss in the last 8 trips was after a poor start, so even though he can be tough to handle, sometimes the horse knows best.
And the jockey knows best to lead the horse to his best game. Joyo Danseur might have found the best footing, too, towards the middle of the racetrack, but much the best and clearly an ease from the starting gate. He allowed Lasting Approval to break sharply, then settled back, set some fractions, then moved on the leaders again. It was a very interesting ride from the perspective of expecting him to go right to the front.
Score one for the very confident Connections, and Bob for the gleaming coat in the paddock area.
This is unbelievable. I mean, most grass riders tell you that they try to hug the hedge as most as they can to save the ground, but Robbie Alvarado did exactly the opposite. He let not one, not two, but three horses inside of him down the backstretch as we look from above. But how much the best is Joyer Danseur, that he could dance around, if you will, in the middle of this turf course and bury this field here this afternoon. I've seen a lot of horse races in my life, but this is one of the more unusual ones I've seen, in that Alvarado kept his horse that far out from the hedge. Maybe he thought, as Caden suggested, that things were a little boggy down inside. I'm not so sure, but it was unusual, unorthodox, but effective. This is some racehorse, Joyer Danseur.
Very close for a second between Lasting Approval and Hawksley Hill as well. Photo, in fact.
For a moment, I think Alex Solis on Lasting Approval, the gray horse who was sneaking up on the rail, thought he might have had the race won, but Robbie Alvarado had ridden Lasting Approval before, remember. He knew better.
There's a reason why Robbie Alvarado says, "I'll stay on." Joyer Danseur jumped off Lasting Approval.
And this is just a tremendous victory for trainer Al Stahl, a young trainer, grew up in Louisiana, has been involved in racing virtually his entire life. His father was a racing commissioner. Has to just be so pleased with this horse's consistency above and beyond anything else. And this is probably the biggest score of the horse's and trainer's career.
It is by far the stiffest competition, but they were very confident. This is a truly developing great turf horse.
Classic pedigree by Nureyev, bred in Kentucky by a classic breeding operation, Gainesway Thoroughbreds, and B. Wayne Hughes, the winning owner there with the orange and white silks, was able to keep an eye on him throughout the entire race, too, with the positioning there in the middle of the racetrack. It wasn't pretty, it got the job done, but this is a horse to watch down the road. He's going to be tremendous.
Where does Joyer Danseur going from here?
He can go just about anywhere. Most of the top grass races are going to be towards the West Coast this year, the way things have worked out. And then down the line, of course, the Breeders' Cup right here at Churchill Downs.
All right, the Early Times Turf Classic in the book. Joyer Danseur, the 6-5 favorite, captures it. Time now to turn our attention back once again to the feature race, the 124th running of the Kentucky Derby. Does it bode well for the favorites? It's been that kind of a day so far at Churchill Downs. Each race stands on its own, but some bettors don't necessarily believe that. Kate, your thoughts?
Well, I had been going with the favorites and favorite trick all along, but I'm leaning more towards maybe a mild upset. I do like the Budweiser long shot. Would love the price of Real Quiet, and Hallery Hunter kind of completes my trifecta. I think Real Quiet, and this is a change of decision this morning, has looked the best of any other horse. And often this race, the Kentucky Derby, goes to the horse who handles the racetrack, who looks better on this particular day than anyone else. Bob Baffert, a top trainer, can win the Kentucky Derby anytime he chooses. I think he chose the wrong horse. I'm going to go with his other horse.
Well, as Bob just proved, you're allowed to change your mind right up until the horses come into the paddock. But it is a very interesting field, loaded with storylines. Bob, what do you think?
Well, I think there's one of three that could win this baby: Indian Charlie, Cape Town, or Hallery Hunter. And I'm going to go with Cape Town. Lucas, Pedigree, Bailey, why not? Hallery Hunter, marvelously consistent. I'm going to use him in my exotic wagering to hit the board. Trifecta, superfecta, sprinkle in a few long shots, and maybe we can take home a 4-digit gimmick here this afternoon at Churchill Downs. Been shaping up as a very, very interesting race. And I can't wait. About an hour away. Charlene, what do you think?
Thanks, Bob. You know, earlier this week, someone asked Bob Baffert if Indian Charlie was seasoned enough to win the Derby. And he said, what does seasoning have to do with it? I'm not going to eat the horse. The last couple of years, I've gone with Bob Baffert, first with Cavalier, then with Silver Charm. I'm going to stick with him again and go with Indian Charlie. Janine, how about you?
Well, my hometown choice didn't make it in this race, Up Smile, but two horses that have really impressed me in the last few weeks, Victory Gallop and Favorite Trick. I'm not jumping off the Favorite Trick bandwagon just yet. I think the Arkansas Derby was a huge prep race for him, coming off just a 7-furlong race as his first start back for the year. I think he's going to run a big race this afternoon, going 1.25 miles. And Victory Gallop has shown me the guts and determination it takes. He's got the right attitude to mow him down coming down the lane. I look for Victory Gallop to run a big race this afternoon also for Elliott Walden. Chris?
I agree, Janine. Victory Gallop, a horse that could pass a lot of tired horses in the stretch, the Canadian bred. But again, no consensus. This proving why it's the toughest race in America to handicap. Official prices on the early times Turf Classic. Joyo Dansour paying just $4.20 to win. Not much of a bargain there on the board.
No, and as far as the fractions went, 24-2, 48-2 leisurely fractions set most of the time by the eventual winner, Joyo Dansour. When he wasn't on the lead, it really didn't matter. It was so easy. Could have done it a lot faster, a lot slower.
Time now for the Derby. If you've looked at the pedigrees here, you found reasons why history tells us that every horse here almost can't win the Kentucky Derby. Remember, they all begin as long shots. In the full crop 3 years ago, more than 30,000 eventually nominated for contention today, 390. 15 have entered. Only one in the next couple hours can etch his name into the living history of horse racing. Only one will carry the rose blanket and the hopes of the industry. Once the gate opens here in a little while, immortality awaits at the wire. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the race.